And we're getting ready for this game tonight between the North Bay Battalion and the Hamilton Bulldogs. Big game for the Battalion, fourth and final meeting against the Bulldogs, who defeated North Bay 7-2. North Bay looking for their ninth straight win and hoping things pick up tonight. And the Bulldogs, of course, beat them 7-2, as I say. No Brandon Coe in that last game, and right now it's Canada or College night, so they're having a brief ceremony. And Ben Long, we should get this one going in a moment. Going to have the national anthem, and then should be a good one, though. Battle of division leaders here late in the season.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. After some technical difficulties, we're actually live now, and hopefully we can continue on with no more. Hopefully the Battalion don't have the same kind of difficulties we had here, and they can get off to a strong start.
Well, you're the producer, so I hope you have job security with Courtney Kenny. So.
No, he's fired already.
Tonight was my tryout, and it didn't go well.
So we're going to hear the anthem, and then we're going to get underway here from the Gardens tonight. Should be a dandy.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la gloire, ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Of course, Ty Nelson is in the lineup tonight after doing such a good job in the prospects game for the North Bay Battalion. Joe Verbetic in net. We'll hear from Joe in our first intermission. Taneas Mathurin back in the lineup for the first time in a while. He got the call this morning from Coach Ryan Olahan. So Battalion healthy, Ben, ready to go.
Yeah, so Mathurin actually has missed more hockey this year than any of the other players on the team. He's played 34 games this season. Leon Armsby's played 36. So we've missed Armsby for a lot, but we've missed Mathurin for even longer. It'll be interesting to see now that he's back how quickly he's get back into his regular game, just because he's been rock solid all the time that we've seen him so far.
Mateo Droback in goal for the Bulldogs, not going with their number one, Marco Costantini. So the carpet's being removed, the players are getting ready, and should be a dandy tonight. And looking forward to this one. Again, an 8-point gap in the standings. Hamilton likely to finish first, but a lot of hockey people think these two teams are going to be the only teams left standing when round 3 of the playoffs begins. And this game could be an indication of what type of series we could get in the month of May, I guess, Courtney. So Courtney Kenny with the call. So it should be a dandy. We should have fun here tonight.
I'm very excited for this game, Bob, as the last time we saw Hamilton here in town, they were a much different looking team. Now they have McTavish and Jackeye out there, and things get underway with the Battalion in their home greens going from right to left, and the Bulldogs in their road whites going left to right, and the puck is quickly into the Battalion zone as Winslow chases after it. Now on the far side half wall, Coe gets it back behind the net to Nelson, as you mentioned, fresh off the top prospects game last night in Kitchener. And he just skies one out for Jackeye to get in the Bulldog zone. Coe coming away with it. Coe looking for an early chance, and he loses the handle of it in the slot. And it's back to Coe at the blue line. Coe picking it up after the puck got back to him. Coe just decides to rim it around the back of the boards to Russell. Russell back to Winslow. And it's all the way out to center ice for Ty Nelson to pick it up and just try to chip it back in. Jackeye with the puck in his own zone. He gets it off to his D partner of Kammerer. Now it's up. The Bulldogs with some speed into the Battalion zone as McTavish, the Anaheim Ducks prospect, gets the puck in and back to his teammate. across. Now with the shot, but it goes well wide. It might have been more of a pass. And the puck comes out to the Bulldogs blue line. And they just dump it back in from Mathurin, who's getting his first shift in a while out there with Winslow. Puck now back to the Bulldogs blue line. And the shot, and the first shot of the game beats Joe Verbetic. And the Hamilton Bulldogs are up 1-0, 1 minute and 20 seconds into the first period, as it's Nathan Staios getting the goal.
Of course, Steve Staios, his dad, NHL player, runs the Bulldogs franchise. So Nathan Staios with the early goal. Tell you, Mason McTavish playing in North Bay this season. North Bay is probably the only place in the world he hasn't played this year. He wasn't here for the Peterborough first game here because of he was at the Anaheim camp, and of course he had been traded. Wasn't here when Hamilton wasn't a member of the Bulldogs in their previous visit. So this is the first look this year that the Battalion fans have of Mason McTavish.
Staios is 14th of the season and 54th point total overall in 48 games. Lots of great offense from the blue line from Staios, and he gets the Bulldogs on the board early, like we mentioned with the first shot beating Verbetic. Shirk now stopping up on the near side half wall. He gets it in deep for his teammate. Mysek back out to the blue line for White. He goes cross ice, and his shot is tipped wide. And it's in the corner now. Puck back out to White at the blue line. White looking to take the shot, and this off Petrov's skate and into the corner, and another shot comes, but is blocked for Podolou to pick it up. He fans trying to get it out of the zone, and the Battalion have kind of collapsed upon themselves now after starting off so well. Petrov just gets it into Verbetic, and he has struggles trying to get a hold of it, but he eventually does, and we have another stoppage of play.
Grayson Ladd took a shot there at his leg, and it's very slow and moving, and maybe a skate blade issue. I'm not sure, as he's helped to the bench by the referee. And Petrov basically slid it to Verbetic on that play, and wasn't a hard shot, but it's good Joe was alert.
Grushnikov from the face-off over to his D partner of Staios, and Staios misses the net. And the puck gets up to the neutral zone for Anderson to pick it up for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs content to try and chip it in, and they do after getting stuck up at the neutral zone. Outwater with it. He's getting pressured by Anderson. He passes it to Christopoulos. Sema with it through his speed through the neutral zone over to Outwater. Outwater looks cross ice for Wakely, but it's just out of his reach. Wakely now with the first shot on net. And Drobak knocks it away with his pad. Bulldogs cross ice entering the Battalion zone for Christopoulos to go after with Biondi. And the Battalion come away with it. Lukin picking it up in his own zone. Lukin trying to chip it out. Anderson blocks that attempt. Wakely picking it up. He goes cross ice for Christopoulos. And Christopoulos decides to just chip it up for Coe, who has to glove it down to the neutral zone and then dump it in. Russell giving chase, but Jack-Eye's the first one to it. Jack-Eye losing the puck to Coe out front. Coe with a shot that's blocked. Coe trying to chip it back to Nelson. Nelson with a quick shot, but that one's blocked as well off a stick in front. Nelson trying to hold the line. He can't quite get the handle on it, and the puck's back out to the neutral zone. Winslow up ice. Russell just chipping it in. And the puck's all the way in deep into the Bulldog zone. Kammerer up to his forward group. And here comes Humphrey. Winslow picking it up as the Bulldogs lost it. And they just try to send it back up ice, but Kammerer at the red line picks it up and sends it in for Verbetic to play. Verbetic nearly gives it away, but it's into the corner now and out of harm's way. Russell looking up ice. He goes cross ice for Coe. Coe just decides to dump it in and go off for a change. Kammerer in his own zone, looking up ice once again. Winterton now, as the dangerous second line of the Bulldogs comes out with McTavish. Kammerer just sends it up front. McTavish now carrying it in. He's got some speed around, tries the wrap around, but it hits the post. It's good to see Ladd back out there, as you mentioned. He was skating off slowly last time, but he's back out in the play. McTavish back to the blue line. White with it. White decides to carry it in. He tries to get a really sharp angle shot in, but instead the rebound's out to McDonald, and away goes McDonald. McDonald with the shot. Drobak just tips it wide. Puck now on the far side wall for Ladd to shoot it, but it goes wide. Podolou now picking it up. He sends it back in deep for McDonald, who takes his man into the boards, but instead the Bulldogs could grab a hold of it, and Winterton up the ice. Winterton chips it in, and Ladd chases. Ladd almost loses it to Winterton, but it coming in from some good support is Mathurin. And Mathurin getting it up and out for Petrov to chip it over to Tarasevic. Tarasevic losing it to Steos. And the puck is up into the neutral zone once again. 14:35 now left in the first period. Shots are tied at 2. But the score is 1-0 Bulldogs. Grushnikov now in his own zone. He's taken out by Podolou, but he still gets the pass to Steos. Bulldogs now with some speed through the neutral zone, but it's going to be determined that they went offside, so we're going to get our first stoppage of play in a little while.
Yeah, Hamilton's a team. They got a lot of depth like North Bay. They got some big names, as we've talked about, Mason McTavish, that people talk about, but they're a well-coached team. They're good defensively. They get solid goaltending. No fluke that they have the most points in the Eastern Conference. So North Bay is going to have to play a complete game against Hamilton.
Absolutely, Bob. Couldn't have said it any better. As the Bulldogs, as we've seen, have already been dangerous. They're shooting 50% on their shots so far. And Biondi now is just going to dump it in from the neutral zone for Anderson. Anderson skating cross ice. He takes the shot and it misses the net. Outwater just as chips it up for Kammerer. Kammerer cross ice. Anderson now just chipping it back to Jack-Eye. Jack-Eye, one of the big trade deadline acquisitions for the Bulldogs as well. The Montreal prospect has looked quite at home for the Bulldogs in another offside call. Another stoppage of play.
Yeah, you mentioned Jack-Eye. People up close to the Bulldogs say major impact of the deal. They knew they were getting McTavish's production, but Jack-Eye really changed their decor in terms of they're more of a physical defense. He really controls play out there, sort of the way Ty Nelson does when he's on the ice for the Battalion. So he's given them a lot of energy here.
Absolutely. We saw some of that last night in the top prospects game with Nelson. Of course, this red team could only muster the one goal from Shane Wright as there's Nelson out on the ice now. He tries to get it over to Winslow at the end board. Coe now chipping it up ice to Russell. Russell finds Nelson streaking up. Nelson stopping at the Bulldogs blue line and looks cross ice for Coe. The shot coming in, but it misses the net from Russell as he had the puck in the slot and a golden opportunity to tie this game up. Coe trying to get it out front, but it hits the Bulldogs stick in front. And instead now it's back out to the neutral zone. Nelson now getting the puck as it dribbles into his blue line. And it's to Coe who just sets it in for Droback, but Droback sends it back out. Puck now up to the blue line for the Bulldogs. And Humphrey missing his hands on it. And the puck's back behind Droback's net. Bulldogs looking up ice for some options. And they just tip it into the Battalion zone, so no icing. Van Steensel with it at his blue line. He's got McDonald, but too many Bulldogs are back, including McTavish once again. Steos, the goal scorer from the blue line early in this game, has the puck and just rims it around for Winterton. McTavish now with some speed. He blows by Mathurin, and Mathurin playing him well is going to pick up a penalty as Winterton, after the whistle, shoots it in the net, and Van Steensel took a little bit of particulars to that, but it's Mathurin that's going to be going off.
And Mathurin, I'm sure Courtney is saying, what else am I supposed to do when I got to cover power forward like Mason McTavish? I can't give him the inside. He tried to play him the outside, and he got called on it. So I don't think the Battalion are happy with that call, and but regardless, Hamilton's on the power play, and Mason McTavish, like, how else are you supposed to control him? You can't give him the inside, otherwise the puck's in the back of your net.
Yeah, it's tough for sure as Morrison wins the puck back to Steos. And they try to go cross ice for McTavish, but instead it misses and it goes back out to the blue line. Steos shipping it up to the half wall of McTavish. McTavish circles around back to Steos. Steos looking to take the shot, but he decides to pass it off to Morrison. Morrison in his own right is very dangerous as well. Hayes back to Morrison to Steos for the one-timer, but it's blocked by Russell. Morrison up to Hayes. Back to Steos at the blue line in the shot. And Verbetic gloves it down. Coming into the game, the Bulldogs' power play is 25.1%. That's good for third in the league. The penalty kill for the Battalion, 80.4%, is in the top 10 at 8.
I was asking some of the Hamilton people who are the leaders of this team, and they didn't give me the talent the big names, they gave me Nathan Steos and George Diaco. Those are the two guys that really get the group going in games. So interesting, eh?
Absolutely, and we've already seen Steos get it going for them already with the first goal of the game as well. Morrison back to Steos with the shot, but a good pad save by Verbetic, and he kicks it out to Arnsby, who gets it the length of the ice to kill off some time. 1:14 left in that power play. Steos skating up ice with some speed, gets it over to Hayes. Hayes back to Steos, who gains the line. Steos tries to step around Christopoulos, but can't. Morrison with the puck, leaving it for Steos. Steos walks the line. He lines up for the shot. It's blocked in front by Christopoulos. And Winslow skates around his net with it and decides to go for a bit more of a skate before he shoots it down the ice. And his stick blows up, but rather a hero, I would say, with that one as it gets down into the Bulldogs zone. Bulldogs resetting, going for a quick line change with 38 seconds left on this power play opportunity. And they get the puck up ice quickly. Diaco, one of the guys you just mentioned, Bob, rims it around. And there's a bit of a scramble at the near side half wall in the Battalion zone. Tarasevic gets it, and he can't get it out. Now he finally does, but White picks it up in the neutral zone. Go Troops go. Champ breaks out here with 15 seconds left on the Mathurin penalty. And Winterton now up in the neutral zone. Winterton skates across, passes it to Humphrey, and Humphrey sends it to nobody at the blue line. And now the Battalion with a bit of a chance, but instead they just get it down the ice, and that'll expire on, time will expire on the Mathurin penalty, and he goes across ice for a quick change. Diaco carrying it in. He meets the stick of Jackson. But quickly over to the slot, and the Bulldogs take a shot that misses the net. Winterton, but Ladd plays him tight. Coe now back on the ice with Jackson. Jackson tries to get around Jackeye, but Jackeye stops him up, and now Jackeye going up for a bit of a chance, but he loses the handle on it from Christopoulos. Petrov up to Jackson. Jackson cross ice for Coe. Coe back for Petrov. Petrov looks, he dangles, he tries to go backhand, but he loses the handle on it as well in the corner, and Jackson has to come in for support. Coe now with the battle up against the boards. Gets back out to the blue line for Christopoulos, who feebly shoots it on net. And a quick chance in the blue paint, but instead Doback just knocks it away. Hayes. Back to Morrison. Morrison with the shot, and it's blocked by Lucan, but almost handcuffs Verbetic. Back to Morrison. He's dangerous. Takes the shot, but it's off a body and floats behind the net. Wakely picks it up behind his net. He loses the handle on it. And Diaco now battling with Lucan. Bit of a height difference there. And it's over to Kammerer. Kammerer behind his net. And they get it back out front. Coe now looking for some options. He's just going to go for a skate with it with Wakely. And Wakely's going to chase into the blue line. He tries to get it out front for Coe, but Coe's stick is lifted. Wakely trying to pick it back up, but instead Hayes now carrying it up to the red line. Hayes dumps it in, and the Bulldogs go for a quick change, as Coe does as well. Ladd behind his own net looking to set up. 8:25 now left in the first period. And Ladd just decides to send it in because we all know that active kick plate has benefited the Battalion before, but instead it's going to go for icing, and we're going to get to our mid-period stop.
So our mid-period break, we'll tell you about our first intermission. We'll have a couple of Battalion interviews. Joe Verbetic and Tanias Mathurin. Mathurin's first game back off the injury list tonight, and Verbetic the starting goaltender. And we'll go through the OHL scores. We'll also update the Nipissing Lakers women's hockey team. They're going on in the national quarterfinals in out east in Prince Edward Island. At last check, there was no score in the second period. They're playing UBC. To win this game, they advance to the semis. If they don't win, they have a consolation semifinal on Saturday morning. So big game, and just hats off to the Lakers, who have done so well this year, making it to the Nationals. I was going to mention Ty Nelson. You know, he's like the Energizer Bunny, right? You just wonder about his energy tonight because he's had a heck of a week. I mean, he went down to Toronto on Tuesday. A lot of media, a lot of photos, meeting some celebrities, all that. Then you go through game day, and he played great last night, but then back to North Bay today. So he's not your typical OHL week for Ty Nelson, but he seems to have a lot of energy so far.
Absolutely he does. We'll see if that energy helps the Battalion out in the long run. Without water looking up ice for Wakely. Wakely chips it out for Sema, who chips it up over the red line. White with it in his own zone, passing it up. And the Bulldogs decide to get it back up to the blue line, but Sema strips them of the puck and turns back around. Steos, once again the goal scorer, as this 1-0 Bulldogs. Shots on goal are 4-2 in favor of the Bulldogs as well. Decides to dump it in for Rubetic to go out and play. Outwater loses the handle on it. And Mathurin now getting called for a second penalty this period on a rather, I would argue, weak tripping call.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm sure Mr. Mathurin feels like saying, hey, you know, I've been on the injured list for a few weeks. I'm just trying to fit my way back in the lineup, and he's going to be in the penalty box once again. But, you know, someone asked me to explain what makes Hamilton so good is it's that depth throughout the lineup, right? That, you know, they really have 4 lines, and North Bay does as well, but a little more experience, and that's what makes Hamilton so strong.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Bob, and this is a team that's not too far, although most of the players on this roster were not too far removed from an OHL title, beating the heavy favorite Sioux Greyhounds in, I believe, 2018. McTavish now at the blue line over to Steos. Steos walking the line over to McTavish, who unloads, and it goes wide of Verbetic's net, and it goes all the way out to the neutral zone for McTavish to once again pick back up. McTavish fanning on a pass, almost loses it to Coe, but Steos gets a hold of it first and chips it up back to McTavish. McTavish up to Hayes. Hayes looking cross ice for Morrison. Morrison now just sending it over to McTavish. McTavish gets it back to Steos, and Steos off the post, but out, and Armsby's just going to go for a skate and try and dump it down. That's Steos now, who could have had 2 goals, and now there's a minute left on this Mathurin penalty. Droback I should say, out to play the puck, and leaves it. Winterton up to Diaco. Diaco, harassed at the red line, decides to get it back up to Winterton. Winterton now being taken in by Nelson, and Nelson just chips it down the ice. Nelson, who was out there in the final minutes of the game last night on a 5-on-3 opportunity, killing it for Team Red. And he looked very calm as well, as we've seen him all year long. Winterton at the far side half wall. Loses the handle, and Van Steensel just chips it down and then chases after it, but White's the first man back. White carrying it into the troop zone. He looks cross ice, but Nelson's the first one there. And Nelson now is tripped up. And finally, the Battalion are going to get a bit of a call. I was going to say, if you're going to call the Mathurin one, you kind of have to call the Nelson one.
Not out of the box. They would have called Mathurin, but he's not out of the box.
Yeah.
So this is a good chance. North Bay's done a good job so far killing the penalties. They're 2 for 2 in penalty killing. You're going to win these close games. You've got to kill penalties successfully. And now you get a power play opportunity, and that's and no one really has to worry about North Bay's power play success. Been one of the strongest units all year, Courtney, number 1 in the league. So this is a chance to really tie the game and get something going here.
4-on-4 for another 9 seconds as Kramer with it in the slot takes the shot, but Verbetic stands tall. And just to elaborate a little bit, the Battalion's power play is 27.1%, like you mentioned, first in the league. Hamilton's penalty kill, 80.6, 7th in the league. So these two teams are relatively evenly matched when it comes to special teams, as the Bulldogs' power play is 3rd in the league, the Troops is number 1, their PK is 7, and the Battalion is 8.
So we'll see what they can do in the power play. Not a great start in the first, well, it hasn't started yet, actually, because Mathurin still has 3 seconds. So North Bay will have 1:44 of power play time.
Kramer tries to get it in, but it's blocked in front. And Mathurin now comes out of the box and skates over. And Nelson now picks it up in his own zone. Nelson looking cross ice as Ladd laboring to get to the bench again, so interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Nelson leaving it back for Jackson with 1.5 minutes left on this power play. Jackson chips it into the Bulldog zone. And the Bulldogs are going to get it. It's Kramer, the captain, gets it out to Nelson. Nelson loses the handle at his blue line. And Thomas is just going to chip it down. Verbetic leaving it for Nelson in the zone, who then leaves it for Coe. Coe going up the ice, looking for some options. He's going to skate into the Bulldog zone with a nice little toe drag, and he's taken down. And then Russell overskates the puck, followed by Shirk overskating the puck. Jackson with it now. The Battalion haven't gotten any zone time yet on this power play, with 47 seconds left. As Jackeye stands up Russell at the line, And now it's all over him, and it looks like we're going to get an offside call as Russell was carrying it in, much to the chagrin of the Troops faithful who were looking for a penalty as Jack-Eye was basically riding Russell's back.
I love watching Brian Floyd, our PA announcer, watch a Battalion game because he lives and dies with every play, every call, and then of course he's got to be so objective when he makes the announcement, right? But Brian lives it like any fan, doesn't he?
He does indeed. One of my more favorite podcast episodes as well was having Mr. Floyd on. As McDonald leaves it for Ladd in his own zone. McDonald decides to send it up ice, but it's left as Arnsby gets it now, and now we're going to get another offside call. And I'm starting to think with 4.5 minutes left in this first period, these referees are going to want some bodyguards when they leave at the end of the third.
Ryan Houlihan did not appreciate that call. He had his hands up at the bench as well. So fans in the stands as well as behind the bench not happy with that offside call.
Again, hardly next to no offensive zone time for the Troops on this as there's 19 seconds left now. It's been basically a game of pitch and catch as Ladd gets it up ice for Van Steensel. Van Steensel overskates it, but it's left for Arnsby. And Kramer just going to drop down, and Shirk's going to get it and try to dump it down. Ladd picking it up as the time expires here on this power play. Goes for a bit of escape, but leaves it for Petrov instead. Petrov over the blue line. He dodges a check as McDonald with a very close shot. Bad angle, but he gets it away anyways, and Droback makes the save. Winslow back to Ladd. Ladd looking up ice. Podalou's going to get it. Podolou chips it in, and those Bulldogs are making it next to impossible to gain any zone time as they just stand up the Battalion at their blue line. Whatever they're doing is working pretty well, I would say. Winterton going back the other way to McTavish. McTavish takes the shot, but Mathurin blocks it. No penalty called against Mathurin on that play. And now Christopoulos is taken down in the corner, and the fans not impressed about that one either. Mathurin up to Tarasevic. Over to Petrov. Petrov takes a shot, and it's blocked by Droback. Podolou now with it. He loses the handle on it, and the Bulldogs are back up into the neutral zone with White carrying the rush. Puck is lost now in front of Verbetik's net from Mathurin. Verbetik just poke checks it away. And the puck's back to the Bulldog zone, or blue line for White. White looking to take the shot, but it's off Petrov's stick and cross ice. Shirk back to Mysek. Jan Mysek, the Montreal Canadiens pick, so this is definitely the team to watch if you're Ben Long, big Habs fan. Enjoying this from Jack-Eye and Mysek. And the puck is out for Tarasevic. Tarasevic tries to get it up ice, but he can't get it past the red line as White now just turns it back around, and Diaco carries it in. White skating across the blue line, tries to chip it in, and Diaco's just going to dump it all the way in. Mysek now tries to go in for the quick wraparound, and now Coe catching Stales a little flat-footed. Coe coming in, he leaves it for Russell. Russell with the shot, and Droback with the nice pad save. Kept in by Winslow. Coe now in the corner. He sends it out front, and it's just going to go all the way down the ice for Verbetik as there was no one there to get the pass. Nelson picking it up in the corner, chips it out, and it's out for Winslow, but instead Hayes is going to pick it up, and they're going to go for an offside call, this time against the Bulldogs. With a minute 50 left in the first period, score is 1-0 Hamilton.
Really interesting how the two teams approach the trade deadline. Hamilton mortgaging their future for the present, going out and getting big names like Jack-Eye and McTavish. North Bay took a more subtle approach, not really getting rid of any young talent, just solidifying their roster with veteran players who haven't been drafted. Someone like a Kyle McDonald, for example, a Grayson Ladd, Tarasevic as well. So it's interesting, and we'll see how that plays out, that the two teams did improve their teams by the deadline, but they did it in different ways.
Yeah, and quick icing call against the Bulldogs. It'll be interesting to see where these two teams are in a year or two, with Hamilton, as you mentioned, mortgaging their future. And the Battalion are going to have a lot of that young talent who are going to be in their primes here in the OHL. Face-off one back to Winslow. Nico picks it up at the blue line as Winslow gets the handle on it. And now another drone from the home faithful. I missed the reasoning on that one. And it's back out to the neutral zone for Winslow, who dumps it in on Droback.
I think Brandon Cole got pushed. Fans wanted a call, but that's just the frustration, I think, of the game that that some calls, I guess, have been missed, some plays that have been missed in the minds of the fans out there.
Yeah, pretty different from compared to January when there was no fans to having full capacity now, and I would say about half capacity here this evening are voicing their opinion none too highly of the referees. So it was funny when they would miss a call back in January and nothing would be really said because there's no one in attendance as the Bulldogs coming in and Verbetic loses the handle behind his net. And Winterton gets it back out to Grushnikov. Grushnikov over to Staios. Staios takes a shot, but it's off the skate of McDonald. McTavish now over to Grushnikov. Grushnikov now being played hard by McDonald, and he just gets it in deep. Shot from Grushnikov comes in quick and is saved by Verbetic. McDonald now chipping it up ice, but he can't quite get it past Thomas. Thomas now to McTavish. McTavish back to Staios, but it's off Staios' stick. With 20 seconds left, he has to skate it back into his own zone. Staios leaves it in his circling in his own zone with 13 seconds left. He's going up ice, looking for some options, and he's just going to chip it in. 8 seconds now left on the clock as Vlad picks it up behind his net. Vlad just decides to get it into the corner, but the Bulldogs come in and get a hold of it. Puck's back to Jack-Eye at the blue line, looking for one final shot. He can't quite get it off in time. And we're going to go into the first intermission 1-0 with the Bulldogs leading. Shots are also in favor of the Bulldogs, 6-4.
Thanks, Courtney. I'll throw it to myself, and I'll be co-hosting the intermission with Ben Long, our producer. And around the OHL tonight, 3 other games. Erie and Niagara are tied 1-1. Mississauga trails Peterborough 2-1 in that one in Peterborough. And Saginaw and Windsor are scoreless. And congratulations to former Battalion players Josh Curry and Alex Christopoulos, part of the Windsor team that clinched a playoff spot this week. So wanted to pass that your way. Just one goal in that period. It was by Hamilton. They outshot the Battalion 6-4. 2 power plays, both for the Bulldogs. And, one for North Bay and 2 for Hamilton. Both North Bay penalties went to Mathurin for holding at 7:49 and 12:15. Ryan Winterton in the box for Hamilton at 13:59. Nathan Staios with the only goal, his 14th of the year unassisted at 1:20. So Ben Long, the producer, now analyst. North Bay's offense, few and far between in that first period, right? They didn't generate much. Hamilton had more of the play, even though they only had 1 more shot or 2 more shots.
Yeah, so Hamilton is doing a really good job at locking things down. As we heard referees being talked about a couple times, they seemed to miss a few calls against Hamilton where they were doing a lot of center grabbing and holding. The one Mathurin penalty actually could have gone either way, I think. Pick one guy and it went to Mathurin. The call that the fans were looking for right towards the end of the period was Brandon Coe had laid a hit on Jack-Eye, and then Jack-Eye punched him in the back of the head on the way away from skating, and that's what the fans wanted to call on. And then Coe went and laid another hit. Haven't seen him get too physical. I think we were seeing a little frustration on the team.
Yeah, I think it's interesting I think they're still trying to feel each other out, and we'll see if that develops over the game, or if the teams are going to pull back and hold back on, because it's not a playoff game. It's just a regular season game. We'll see if that happens, and as we go. Of course, yesterday we found out that Tanias Mathurin was playing again. Hasn't played since the Sioux game a few weeks ago when he got injured. We had a chance to visit with Tanias and talk about returning to the lineup.
For you get hurt once, you figure, okay, I'm done. You get hurt again. How did that affect your psyche?
Yeah, no, at that first week when I got hurt again, I mean, it was tough. I was just frustrated, really, but I kind of figured I have to deal with it. I have to get through it. I have to be stronger when I come back, and I think I did that.
You obviously are in your draft year, and you were getting some draft acknowledgement. Are you concerned now that might hurt your status because you didn't play, or if you have a great playoff, it'll just be fine again?
Yeah, I think that was all to preparing for when I come back, and I think if I'm as good as I was before I was out, when I come back and even better and I have a good playoffs, then I'm good to go.
What do you make of the run you guys are on? You went through that 3-week stretch where you're having trouble getting wins, and now most of the guys have come back, except for yourself, are healthy, and the team seems really settled going into this important stretch.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see how we're doing now, because I mean every team is going to go through a down stretch like that, but to see that we've got our game back to the way we were at the start of the season, it's good to see. And
but you weren't there for it personally. Yeah. That's gotta hurt a little bit.
No, not even. I mean, it's the team, so I'm just happy to see them win, and I'm hoping we're winning when I come back.
How would you describe your game in terms of what your strengths are and what you need to work on?
Yeah, I would say that my strengths are just my defensive play, as well as like the way I use my stick and my body positioning, and then I just want to work on my feet. Being a tall guy, I want to work on my skating and that kind of thing, and I also want to work on my plays in the offensive zone.
You've developed, and I've watched, because this is your rookie year, more confidence in coming out of your own end and taking the puck, not just shooting it up to a forward, but carrying it. I can see that, and I know you feel that too. How long did it take you to get comfortable in saying, okay, I can take this puck and lead a rush?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first month or two. I mean, going into Christmas, it was my confidence was there, but the first month or two, you're kind of just feeling out the league, feeling out the speed. But as soon as I noticed that I can play with these guys and I could handle carrying the puck out of my zone or whatever, the confidence was definitely there.
One more. You weren't here when you played Hamilton a few weeks ago and it didn't go well. How emotional, how high are you, so to speak, to face a big team like that gets a lot of publicity?
Yeah, no, I'm actually very excited for it, because I think we didn't play our best game last time we played them, and we're at home now. We got the fans behind our back, and we're not going to be like scared and stuck up in the standings that, oh, it's Hamilton. So I think that we're ready for this game, and we're going to come out stronger than we did last time.
And that was Tanias Mathurin yesterday. And Ben Long, as we bring you back in, he's a guy that the team really needs, right? He's so good in his own end. And before he was hurt, he was showing confidence offensively as well. Battalion in good shape with their young defense leaders in Mathurin and Ty Nelson, but let's talk about Mathurin and what he brings to the table.
So he brings a lot of stability to the back end. Nelson's really upped his defensive game throughout the season, but towards the end of the year, towards the start of the season, when Nelson was still kind of finding his way there, Mathurin was still showing a lot of strength in his end. He's really kind of the anchor, and it was, easy to forget that he's a rookie this year too. That it's his first year playing in the OHL, and there he was being a steady, a stay-at-home defenseman in a way that not a lot of guys can really shut down other guys. We saw tonight he took a couple penalties in the first period, and I got to think that's just a little bit getting his feet back under him. One was a tripping penalty, one was a holding penalty. I think, we'll see a couple more periods of him, and we're not going to see those types of things out of him anymore. We'll see a lot more just solid regular play.
Yeah, he's a guy that, has really improved. There are going to be teams going in a couple of years. I can't believe we didn't pick him when he had that pick in the first round, right? And he's that type of player, and indications are he's moved up the rankings. This isn't his draft year, so he's got a year to go before his draft year, but I think, he's going to be drafted. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and the thing we'll have to see is defensively, he's got it all figured out. It's offensively as where he does eventually get drafted. Does he have what it takes to be to score as well as being a great defender?
Yeah, and that's something that we'll see whether it comes out. When we saw Ladd come here, we didn't expect much offense from him, but he's on the second power play. He's getting a lot of shots off. He's making some good passes. So if we could see Mathurin kind of follow under Ladd's example and become that kind of a defenseman, he can really be utilized at both ends of the ice while still being highly effective in his end.
And these kids are so young, and they're still learning, they're still developing, so the glass is definitely half full, if not full completely, with Tanias Mathurin. It's good to have him back in the lineup. And updating the Nipissing Lakers, no score, second period of their quarterfinal at the Nationals in PEI. They've been in the penalty box a bit, but so far so good as they're playing UBC with the winner to go to the semifinals on the weekend. We also had a chance yesterday to talk to the starting goalie tonight, North Bay's number 1, Joe Verbetic, the Montreal draft pick. Let's hear that now.
Joe, when Montreal signs you, are you going to buy a bigger car? Because you're a big man in a car that's not that big.
I actually don't have my own car right now. I usually just drive my billets. So
that's
that's step one, to just get something, yeah.
Joe, working with your goalie coach this time of year as the playoffs are like less than a month away, so does it ramp up? Does it change? Is it just a reminder?
Yeah, I think it's more just a reminder of kind of everything we've gone over throughout the whole year, and just kind of make sure that I'm ready for the playoffs, and that everything's going to be good, and that at this time of year there's sort of nothing that I think I should be changing, and just stick to the plan.
Think about, if you could, when you walk skate onto the ice with this group compared to what it was 2 years ago. There's so much talent in front of you. There's so much skill in front of you. It got to take some pressure off you, knowing that you've got a team in front of you. You don't have to make 54 saves to win a hockey game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this year, like you said, there's a lot of great guys out there, and I think our defensive core is really much stronger as well than 2 years ago. So, there's sometimes that me and Dom have to make the big saves, but at the same time, I know I can trust the guys to put the puck in the other side of the net, and it really helps out a lot.
Do you find you thrive under more pressure or less pressure?
I think I thrive under more pressure. I mean, in games that I have to make, big saves to save the win, or, keep it tied or something like that, I think I can, I'm able to make the saves when I need to and take that, yeah.
Now, we've seen both of you guys in the net the last few weeks. Do you like to challenge each other that way, that saying, the way you're being used by the coaches and the team?
Yeah, I think there's been a battle kind of between us all year. I mean, we're super close together, but I think there's also that compete between us, and we like to have fun doing it. So I think both of us playing the past few weeks has been great for us, and I think it makes us play better.
You've been here 3 years now. What's the excitement level like as this team approaches the postseason?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, I know for a lot of guys we haven't played a playoff game yet, so it's going to be really exciting, and kind of being at the top of the standings right now, and towards the end of the year, every game's going to be huge. So it's good. It's a lot of fun.
Good. Thanks, Joe. That was Joe Verbetic yesterday in our scrum, and it's like the Montreal alumni meeting, future alumni meeting tonight. Joe, of course, has been drafted by Montreal. Jack-I and, of course, Jan Mysek of Hamilton have also been drafted by your favorite team, Ben Long. So you got to be enjoying some of the future Habs talent on the ice tonight.
Yeah, I'm really kind of happy at the start of the season when Jack-I went back to Kitchener and we found out we weren't going to be seeing them at all this year. I was kind of like, well, that's unfortunate. I want to see him playing a bit this year, so we get to see him, and that's cool. It's unfortunate that he's on a team that's probably, we might meet in the conference finals. I love seeing the talent come out of those guys, but if they, want to hold off till next year, I'd be fine with that.
Let's talk a little about the depth this North Bay team has. We talked about before that, Romani had to sit a game, not because he was playing poorly, but just they have 13 forwards, and it was just his number that came up. On the back end tonight, Ben Govro's not in the lineup because he got Mathurin back, and Govro's been outstanding for them this year, really fitting in well to the lineup. And it's the same issue in net. You have two good goalies in Joe and Dom DiVincentis. It's a great problem to have, and I think it's a way they challenge each other, right? That they want to challenge each other to get better, but they also want to show the coaches that they should be in the lineup. The goaltending choices for the Battalion are going to be interesting in the late in the year, in the playoffs. I know people expect Joe Verbetic to get a majority of the starts, but don't be surprised if Dom gets the occasional start either.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Joe Verbetic is considered the starting goalie for the team and has gotten the majority of the starts this season at about a 2-to-1 rate, it seems, from the numbers I was looking at before the game. But talent-wise, they're a lot closer than that. So I wouldn't be surprised if coming into the playoffs we start to see a little more parity there. The big thing is, and this is part of what makes it a hard time for the coaches, is this could very well be Verbetics last year in the OHL, where DeVincentis has a few more years, so the Battalion would have incentive to give him the experience, give him some time, develop him so that they can, in the next few years when they have their guys that are in their going to be stepping in their prime in the league, have a goalie that's had some good chances, got some playoff time, seen what it's like.
Well, I think it's his net to lose, and I think, we'll see him in the playoffs because you don't want to, create any dressing room distraction, right? Who's the guy tonight? But I think it's his net to lose, but that if there's an issue with his play, that you got a guy ready who can step right in and provide you outstanding goaltending.
Yeah, and I mean, to go to the other end of the ice, talking about depth, I don't know if this has maybe never happened before. I don't know if I've ever heard of it, but to have a guy on the third line that's in the top 10 in points in the league.
That's again a nice problem to have. And Ryan Olahan talked about it yesterday's scrum. He said, we threw it in there once and to see what would happen because we wanted to balance out our line that night, and he also wants to see how the opposition team they're playing reacts to it. Like, who do you check with? Like, you put your checking line on Brandon Coe, or do you put it on Matvei Petrov on who's the hotter player that night? So, which means it makes those other two lines better because they're not playing against the checking line.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we're going to see in terms of depth for the playoffs is, like we talked about, they have 7 good defensemen that could be playing in justify ice time right now. So the fact that they can only play 6 means they got depth right down there. Same with forwards. We're one of the few teams that are rolling. The fourth line's getting over 10 minutes of ice time.
And I know, Ryan Olahan, that practice is important, and the players better come to practice ready to work hard because, Courtney Kenny, as we throw it to you, there are extra spots for ice time on this team right now. There are 13 forwards. There are 7 defensemen who are all worthy of playing, and how they play down the stretch is going to indicate whether, they get those key assignments come playoff time.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. And, it's kind of interesting when you sit here and say, Govro's your 7th D-man, when, there have been times where I could argue he could play in the top 4 some nights. And, with Romani, who's out tonight, he had 0 goals until February 3rd or 4th against the Sioux Greyhounds. Now he's got 8 on the season. So over the last month, he's been hotter than hot. That's the best way I can really describe him. So it's pretty remarkable when those are your 2 guys that are sitting out right now. So we're a long way from some of the call-ups from, that we've seen. And some of them have done good and some of them haven't, but we're a long way to having, a call-up a night, basically.
Well, it should be an interesting second period. North Bay really didn't have a lot of sustained offense in the first period. They gave up an early goal. They only got 4 shots. Hamilton got 6, and the Bulldogs lead 1-0. So I think the coaches need to see a little more sustained offense here. Try to tire those Bulldogs out. They've been getting the puck out of their zone pretty quickly, and they've had more zone time in the North Bay end than vice versa.
Thank you very much, Bob. And the Battalion now are going right to left in their they're going left to right, I should say, in their home greens, and Hamilton's going right to left in their road whites. And just an interesting thing, the Battalion are 15-13-4 this season when the opposing team scores first. So the Battalion still have a winning record, and we'll have to see if that continues here in the second period as play is underway into the Battalion zone as Nelson goes after it. Instead, he loses it to Morrison. Morrison back to Kramer. Kramer gets it in deep, and Nelson goes for the body check, but it's left for Morrison. Morrison back to Jackeye, over to Kramer. The captain of the Bulldogs takes the shot, and it's deflected wide. Jackeye now with the quick shot, and it misses the net. And it quickly just lays at the side of the net, but much to the chagrin of the Bulldogs, a quick face-off, and where he got our first stoppage and play of the second.
Well, you can see what these Bulldogs can do. They come right at the start of the period, Courtney, and have a good offensive shift. They get a shot on goal, a scoring opportunity, and they start on time. And I think North Bay has to do a better job of that here tonight, early in periods.
Absolutely, and in the first period, they looked to start off real hot until Steos scored that goal a minute and a half in. But here comes McTavish with a quick shot, and it's left for Thomas with the rebound at the side of the corner. He had an open net, but he's taken off the puck. Up to McDonald. McDonald chipping it out, and it's down into the Bulldog zone for the first time this period. Van Steensel in the near side corner, back to McDonald for the shot from Mathurin! Tanias Mathurin! It is returned to the lineup for the North Bay Battalion. He pots his third goal of the season, and we're tied up at 1.
Well, everyone knows about Tanias Mathurin's defensive ability, and we speculated, is he going to be that offensive guy too that benefits the club? Well, he must have been listening, because he came in on the play and, got a good shot on goal, and, he's going to rise in the NHL stock. You know that, because, he's proving he can be dangerous offensively as well as in his own end.
What a return to the lineup, and what a foe to do that from, as he took the shot just from outside the slot on Droback.
And he didn't waste any time, Courtney.
He didn't at all.
He knew what to do with the puck. He didn't think about it. He just reacted to it. That was a great play.
Wonderful play, and you got to think, taking out some of his frustrations on how his first period went, as the puck's back into the Battalion zone, and it's on the near side half wall for McDonald. McDonald chipping it up over the red line. Van Steensel tries to knock it down. Van Steensel being double teamed, but the Bulldogs get the puck back to the blue line. Left for McDonald. McDonald with the high shot, and it's wide. And Thomas picks it up and leaves it for McTavish. McTavish over to Winterton. Winterton carries it in and over to Thomas. Thomas losing the handle on it, and he's taken in hard to the boards by Ladd. Thomas picking it back up, back to Steos. Steos with the shot, it goes wide, and Ladd picks it up. Stick now in the corner as McTavish goes in, or Winterton goes in after Ladd, and it looks like those two are going to have some words as the puck's down in the Bulldog zone now. Tarasevich picking it up. He leaves it for Podolou. Podolou taken to the boards by Mysick, and it's back for Petrov. Petrov looking to get around White, but he can't quite get the handle on it. And now we have Van Vliet back there. Shirk over to Mysick. Mysick over to Doback, or I should say Diaco. The goaltender's not up there, Bob. Tarasevich going after it, but the puck's back in for Shirk. Christopoulos being played hard by Shirk. Gets it up for Podolou. Podolou looking to go cross ice, but instead hates Lucan. And another stick on the ice. Sticks are flying everywhere. It's a yard sale out there at the Gardens. And it's left at the neutral zone for Christopoulos. Podolou now drops it down, but he's taken out by Van Vliet. And it's left for Diaco. Diaco looking for some options off ice. Skates it up. And it gets up to Anderson. Anderson taken hard into the corner, leaves it up, but then Sema picks it up for the Battalion. It's back into the neutral zone. Nelson chasing after it. Leaves it for Christopoulos. Christopoulos finding Sema. And Sema stripped of the puck. Puck gets back over to Wakely in the neutral zone. And he loses it to Jackeye. Jackeye now taking the shot from the face, or from the point, and it's blocked down by Verbetic. And Kramer now picks it up in the corner. A little bit of a pile up behind the Battalion net as the puck's left there, but Winslow's trying to get out with it. Kramer takes him in hard into the boards, and Winslow's just gonna pin it to the boards before it gets up to the half wall. Back out for Anderson. And the puck's just staying in that corner. Doesn't want to get out till it finally gets to the point, and Jackeye has it. Jackeye takes the shot, but is blocked by Nelson's skates. Nelson looking up ice for Outwater. And Outwater goes well offside as Wakely touches it. And we get another stoppage in play with 15:52 left in the second period.
North Bay may have been a little nervous tonight. Everyone knows about Hamilton, top team in the country in various weeks during the season, and everyone was excited about the outdoor game in Hamilton. Got a lot of publicity. They've been on TV a lot, but I think North Bay needed a moment to sort of really get in the game, and I think that was Mathurin's goal. So I think North Bay's come alive here in the second.
Absolutely, and who would have thought that the two goal scorers for both these teams so far would be defensemen? As here we go back underway with The Battalion taking it through the neutral zone. Russell gains the zone, leaves it back for Jackson. And Jackson tries to pass it out front to Russell, but it's blocked by Hayes. Morrison now back to Steos, who loses the handle. And Cohen is a little bit of a 2-on-1. Brandon Coe coming in on the right wing over to Jackson. Jackson takes the shot, and it's well wide of the net. And now we get another stoppage in play here as Jackson missed a golden opportunity for the troops.
It's interesting the way Hamilton's approached this game. You know, they didn't go with the number 1, Marco Costantini. You know, so maybe Hamilton, you know, and that's what you get this kind of year, right? If you think you're going to play a team in the playoffs down the road, there's all kinds of gamesmanship going on here, saying, okay, I won't play my number 1 guy because I beat you last time. So, that's what you love about it.
McDonald taking the shot, and it's off the skate in front of Jack-Eye.
Jay McKee's, sorry, Gordon. Jay McKee's done a great job behind the bench here and with this team, and they deserve all the credit they're getting. But I think both teams are similar, right? The way they play. You know, they use everybody, and they work for chances, and they have outstanding goaltending. So a lot of similarities with these two teams. And I think it can be argued that these two coaches are the best head coaches in the East this year. I mean, they're 1-2 in points, and a lot of similarities.
A lot of similarities for sure as we get a couple of quick whistles there. And it's an icing call, and it's coming down to the blocker side of Verbetic in the Battalion zone. But yes, it's lots of experience as well. I mean, with the Bulldogs, Steos and McKee, and I mean the Battalion, everyone on that bench has played professional hockey at some point as well. So as the Battalion get it back up into the Bulldog zone, looking for that kick plate, and it's called for icing again. So back-to-back icing calls against the troops.
Yeah, Steve Steos, the president and GM, he is the Hamilton Bulldogs. His son is on the ice, of course, and Jay McKee had quite the NHL career. He's the head coach of the Bulldogs. So yeah, a lot of experience, and you know these guys look up to those two.
Yeah, and then we got Oulahan, who played in the AHL, Billy Holder, who played in the NHL, and Scott Ray, who played in the ECHL. So all 3 tiers of North American professional hockey on the Battalion bench as well, as we're going to get a 3rd straight icing call against the Battalion.
Well, the game looked like it was opening up a little, but we've had like 5 face-offs in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But you're right, Ryan Oulahan without an injury. A lot of people tell me he would have played in Detroit when Detroit was the kings of the NHL, and he probably would have had a great career, but he had a hip injury in his when he was in the American Hockey League. And of course, Bill Holder, you know, had a fine NHL career, and of course Scott Ray, as you say, had a pro career as well. So yeah, lots of experience.
Loads as Tarasevich gets it in the neutral zone, and this one won't go for icing this time. Over to Christopoulos. Christopoulos losing the handle on it and chases it into the corner. Christopoulos losing the puck to Mysak. And Diaco now carrying it in. White skates it around, almost loses it, and goes out to the neutral zone, but Steos keeps it in. Steos going for a bit of a skate. Looks to take the shot in, but it's blocked in front, and Petrov turns around quickly. The Battalion now with a little bit of a rush as Petrov carries it into the slot. And he takes a shot, but it's almost deflected in by Podolou. And instead, Drobak's going to stand tall with another save. 14 minutes even left in the second period.
Yeah, good chance there. Podolou did the right thing, going to the net and trying to get that juicy rebound. Not a big one, but and a good move by Petrov. So this third line, so-called third line, that was a good shift. Good chemistry there.
Very good shift by the international line for sure. As Wakely comes in for the draw, and he wins it back to Sema, and Sema gets it out and back into the Bulldog zone. Reshnikov losing the handle as Sema turns and takes a quick fire, but he gets blocked in front. Outwater doing the same, but it's blocked as well. And Outwater again with another shot, and it just goes wide. Ladd losing the handle in the corner. And it's up ice for the Bulldogs. Anderson with it. He gets it up, but Mathurin picks it up, the goal scorer for the troops, as Sema with some speed through the neutral zone. Sema tries to go past Van Vliet, but he can't quite get it through his skates. And it's back to Wakely, who sends it out front. And Drobak's just going to hold on to it and get the stoppage of play.
It's interesting how games start, right? Some games start with a lot of energy. I think in the first period, both teams were feeling each other out a lot. And we're starting to see a little more wide open play, but also more hitting, more physical play. So I think, the rivalry is starting to develop here in the second period.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, both these two teams know exactly what's at stake here between the top two teams in the league. As for bragging rights, the Battalion have already won 2 out of the 3 meetings. But again, the one meeting that the Bulldogs did win, they had McTavish and Jackeye out there. So it'll be interesting to see if the Troops can get the victory done here. As the Bulldogs get it into the Battalion zone, but it's kept by Nelson at the blue line, who gets it back into the neutral zone for Russell. Russell now getting it up front for Coe. And Coe and Kramer collide and make a big collision in the Bulldog zone. Humphrey now back into the Troop zone. He sends it rink wide to Hayes, who gets it in his skates and loses the handle on it. Nelson behind his net. He gets it out to Hayes. Hayes with the shot, and it's wide of the net and out of play. And we'll have another stoppage in play with a golden opportunity by Hayes on that one.
That was North Bay's lost weekend, right? That was their lost weekend. They lost 2 games to Hamilton and Niagara. Now,
Yep.
Brandon Coe was out with a concussion at the time. Liam Arnsby still hadn't returned to the lineup. So, and it's really the only games they've lost in their last 20 or so. So,
Since the beginning of February.
So, that's been on the North Bay mind as well, that they finally have a full cast here to battle Hamilton.
And guess who's back up next for the Troops? Who else but Niagara?
That's right, Saturday night on the road.
Steos with the puck in his zone. He's going to flip it out, and it's going to be blocked by Mathurin, but Mathurin loses it to McTavish. McTavish can't get past Ladd as he gets it out front for Thomas, and then it's batted out of the zone by the Battalion. A little hectic play in front of Verbetic, but they keep the puck out, and the score remains tied at 1. Cross ice now, Mathurin chases after it. Winterton goes for it as well. Winterton back to the blue line for Grushnikov. Ladd picking it up and blocking it in front. Up to Arnsby. Arnsby chips it out, and Stayos goes out and gets it. Up to Thomas. Thomas to the neutral zone. Just sends it up for McTavish, but McTavish didn't know it was there, so Ladd picks it up instead. Over to Mathurin. Mathurin gets it up to McDonald, who loses the handle on it a little bit and can't quite get the puck to settle down. And it's right back to the up front for Shirk, who misses the handle, or else he would have been in home free on Verbetic. And Mathurin now with the puck. Gets it up to Russell. Russell with some speed through the neutral zone. Gets it up and over to Coe, and Coe quite can't get that one to settle down as well. And that was over to Jackson, who takes a sharp angle shot, and it's blocked by Droback. Coe over to Nelson. Nelson looking for the shot, but it's blocked in front by Van Vliet. And up high and back out for the Bulldogs. Diaco carries it in, and he just stops up slightly. And Mysek goes offside, so we're going to get another stoppage in play with 11:11 left in the second period.
I tell you, the fans here love Ty Nelson, don't they? Every time he gets the puck in the offensive zone, it's like shoot! They want to see the puck split in 2 again, I guess. But as happened earlier this year,
Yeah.
So definitely a crowd favorite here at the Gardens.
And I tell you, that happened unfortunately when there was no fans in attendance. I was here covering the game for Bay Today at the time, and I missed it. I heard it, but I missed what happened. And then I'm sitting there looking at the screen being like, somebody tell me what happened. I did not believe the puck broke in half, but it did when you saw the replay.
Yeah, imagine if there was a full house here that night.
Oh, my goodness. They would have felt robbed that it wasn't called a goal. Although the puck did not cross the line. Either half of it did not cross the line. Coe in his own zone, up through the neutral zone with some speed. Gives it to Russell, who loses it to Diaco. And Russell picks it back up at the Bulldogs bench. Russell in his own zone. Goes cross ice to Coe, who loses the handle to Jackeye. And now Mysek with it. Mysek looking out cross ice. And the Bulldogs can't get it going. And Winslow now leads the charge up ice. Winslow tries to get in and split the D, but he's stopped by Kramer. And he just gets it in deep into the Bulldog zone. Petrov gets back for Jackson, who kicks it up to Tarasevich. And it's back out into the neutral zone. Mysek now across the blue line to Diaco. Diaco with the shot, but is blocked in front and didn't get to Verbetic. Potaloo now with speed through the neutral zone. Potaloo going wide on Van Vliet. He gets it out front, but Jackeye just stops it with the skates. Puck goes up to Hayes. Hayes over to Humphrey. And out front, but a big pad save by Verbetic. And the puck's now behind his net as they go out to the slot. The Bulldogs do, that is. They try to get the shot away, and then Morrison with a weird shot from the almost point gives the Bulldogs back the lead with 9:53 left in the second period over Verbetic's Golden Glove.
Yeah, Logan Morrison with the goal for the Bulldogs. And what happened on that sequence, good rush by the Bulldogs, and there were about 4 bodies in front. They didn't initial shot, then the puck came out, 5 or 6 feet further near the circles, and Morrison just shot it on goal. Wasn't aiming for anything, just put it on the net. You never know, something good might happen, and a lot of bodies in front. I don't know if Verbetic saw it, but it went in goal, so screening really paid off. The North Bay guys inadvertently helped the Bulldogs on that one, Courtney.
Absolutely, and unfortunately it goes against the Troops. That's Morrison's 31st of the season, and also his 86th point as well. So he's tied with Brandon Coe in scoring right now. And what a year by Morrison. Bulldogs trying to get back into the Battalion zone, but they can't get over the blue line. Esteos now gets it back in his own zone. Grushnikov sends it up ice, but it's played in front by Verbetic, so no icing. Tarasevic now picking it up at the neutral zone. He gets across ice to Petrov, who is at the Bulldogs blue line, who takes a shot in, but is blocked and well wide. Podolou now being held up, and no call, much to the chagrin of the 7th man. Grushnikov picking the puck up, and he gets it into the Battalion zone. Petrov now with it. Petrov skating it up ice with McDonald and Arnsby. Petrov leaving it for Arnsby. Arnsby loses the handle on it, and he's taken into the boards by Hayes. Hayes now skating past around Arnsby, and the Grushnikov comes in and picks up the puck. Grushnikov off ice to Sims. Sims tries to get the shot, but it's blocked in front, and then he takes Winslow hard into the boards. Nelson chips it up. Van Steensel picks it up. Van Steensel through the neutral zone up to Arnsby, and Arnsby's just going to rim it around the Bulldog zone. He's going to get to the near side half wall and no further. Back behind the net for White, and it's just pinned in the corner now. White picking it up from the corner, carries it up out of this neutral zone. And the Bulldogs having struggles now getting the puck through the neutral zone as Nelson goes after it in the Battalion zone. McDonald turning around, looking up ice. He tries to flip it out, but it's blocked by Anderson and chipped right back down deep into Verbetic, behind Verbetic's net. Winslow in the corner. He gets it up to Van Steensel, who didn't see the puck whatsoever and overskated it. And it's back into the Bulldog zone for McTavish. McTavish now over the Battalion blue line. Gates it up. Takes a quick shot on Verbetic, and Verbetic stands tall. As Winslow now in the corner. Chips it back for Nelson. Nelson looking up ice for Coe. And Coe just carries it out and been over the blue line over to Wakely. Wakely carries it into the Bulldog zone. He stops up. Gets it in deep for Coe and goes off for a change. Coe now with 3 Bulldogs coming near him. And he walks out and takes a shot, but it's missed wide. Off the body. Russell back to Jackson. Coe gets it back to Ladd. Ladd takes a shot from the point. And it's blocked by Droback. Mathern now the goal scorer for the Troops out front to Coe. And it's blocked by Jackeye. Coe trying to get a hold of it as his stick is slashed out of his hands. And when it's that obvious, the referees cannot turn a blind eye, but that's also our mid-period stop with 7:08 left in the second.
So a big power play coming up on the other side of this break. In our second intermission, we will have the latest from the Frontline podcast, tell you about this week's edition, and we'll update the scores. We'll tell you about the Nipissing Lakers as well. They're at the quarterfinals at the Nationals going on in Charlottetown. And special birthday wishes to 3 Battalion guys, Paul Christopoulos, Ryan Houlihan, and Alexander Lukin will be 18 on Sunday, 19 for Christopoulos, and Ryan Houlihan, 37. Can't believe they put his age up there. But happy birthday to all those guys.
Gonna have to ask him that during the post game, and I guess when I go down to St. Catharines this weekend, we'll have to buy him a special birthday pop after the game.
Well, ask him that question if the Battalion get 2 points tonight.
That's true, yes.
You know, if just my advice to you, my friend.
Yes. Well, Ryan's not prone to ripping your head off like other people have been, but I still don't want to get on his bad side.
No, you don't want to get on Ryan's bad side. That's hard to do.
hard to do, but I hear once you're there, you're there. Russell wins it back, and it's over to Petrov. Petrov on the far side half wall, gets it back to Nelson. Nelson almost loses the handle of it, but instead Shirt gets it, and he tries to spring Hayes, but Hayes misses the pass. No icing on it as Verbetic came out to play it, and Coe now picks it up in his own zone. Coe looking up ice, he's just going to skate it in, and Petrov's going to get it at the blue line and rim it back around. Jackson at the half wall, over to Nelson. Nelson back over to Petrov. Petrov looking to take the shot, and it goes through the crease, and it's back out. So the Battalion already in 40 seconds, I would say, have more offensive zone time in this power play than they did in the first one as Russell comes back in with it. Russell looking back to Nelson. Nelson over to Coe. Coe fanning on the pass, and guess what? The puck's going to go back out into the neutral zone, and Winterton carries it up. Winterton one-on-one with Nelson is blocked. Thomas now picking it up as he came into support. And he's just going to skate right into the boards and lose the handle on the puck as it's back to Nelson with 55 seconds now left on this power play. Nelson leaving it for Jackson. Jackson gets it up to Russell. And now Petrov with it. Petrov tries to get across ice, but it's going to be blocked by Winterton. And Winterton's going to have a bit of a 2-on-1 here with Nelson off to defend. Winterton taking the shot, missing the net. And now Thomas with it. Thomas looking back all the way into his own zone, and this power play has just gone from bad to worse for the Battalion here. Petrov gets a skate back with 20 seconds left, and Winslow picks it up and sends it up to McDonald, who can't get the handle on it. McDonald now gets it into the zone finally, and Coe gets it and then leaves it for McDonald. McDonald with the pass out front that's blocked, gets it back in the corner, it's back to Coe. Coe being harassed with no time to do anything. So McDonald gets back to Ladd. 3 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs, and that'll do it. We're back to 5-on-5. Ladd now at the point, looking cross ice for McDonald. McDonald gets it back to Winslow. Winslow over to Ladd. Ladd into the slot for McDonald with a shot, and the Battalion had a great chance there of tying up the game at 2, but Droback stands tall in the butterfly.
And Liam Arnsby, after the save was made, just wanted to double check, tried to dig in there, and the Bulldogs didn't like it. Just updating that, Nipissing Lakers score no score after 2 periods, so they're going to the 3rd period against UBC in the quarterfinals at the Nationals in Charlottetown. So 1 goal could be enough in that game.
Very tight game. We'll have to keep an eye on that one for sure. And one thing that's funny is I always describe to people that don't really know hockey as well, I always describe Arnsby as a bulldog out there. Maybe not in this game.
That's a good point. He is a Bulldog, though.
Yes, just not the Hamilton kind. Humphrey carrying it into the troop zone. He gets it back to the blue line, and the puck comes in, but it's blocked by McDonald. Although McDonald, I suspect, did not mean to as he was falling into it. Van Steensel up with Christopoulos and McDonald. And Van Steensel gets it into the near side corner for Morrison, the 2nd goal scorer for the Bulldogs. Humphrey gets it up ice. And that's White now. White looking cross ice to Hayes. And gets it in front to Morrison, but what a save by Verbetic. Great save by Joe Verbetic to keep the Battalion within 1.
He stopped the rebound, too.
Great sequence for Verbetic. And now the Battalion have the puck in the Bulldog zone as Christopoulos takes a shot, and Hayes blocks it with his skates and goes down into the corner. Puck now pinned up on the boards, and the Bulldogs get it back out to the neutral zone. Ladd chips it up to Christopoulos. Christopoulos looking for some options up ice. Gets it to Outwater. Outwater looking to take the shot, but instead leaves it for Sema, who loses the handle of it. And the Bulldogs are back away the other way. The Bulldogs really like to cherry pick as well, I've noticed. They stick up at the Battalion blue line a lot as they're in alone with another chance, but Verbetic didn't really need to make the save as it went wide on that one. Puck now on the far side half wall. Out front for Diaco. Diaco losing the handle of it. And Ladd looking up ice. Ladd instead just holds onto it in his own zone and gets it up for Sema, who chips it in. And the Battalion 3rd line is going to go for a change. Or 4th line, rather. It's hard to tell anymore because they're all so good. Potaloo now in his own zone. Gets it around the net to Lucan. Lucan looking up ice, but the pass is blocked in the neutral zone by Thomas. Diaco looking for some chances. He takes the shot, but Verbetic stops it. Potaloo with the rebound. Gets it up to Tarasevic. Tarasevic avoids the big hit from Kramerer, and Potaloo goes in after it with Jack-Eye. Jack-Eye coming up with the puck behind his own net. Pins it up against the wall now, trying to get a stick out, and it's out front to Petrov. And it was a golden opportunity for the Troops, but no goal. Petrov losing the handle of the half wall. And the Bulldogs get up for Thomas. Thomas looking to chip it in, but instead it's left for McTavish. McTavish takes the shot, and was there any doubt that Mason McTavish was going to get a goal in this one?
You can't give Mason McTavish that kind of room to get the shot. He's that's an NHL goal scorer, Courtney, right there. Mason McTavish, and he doesn't miss when he gets that much room. And Rebecca played it well, but he left a little gap on the left side of the net, and McTavish buried it low. And I was about to say that next goal is going to be huge, and North Bay had to get it, but they didn't. And it's late in the period, so Hamilton still a long way to go, but that's a key goal in the game.
McTavish picking up his 14th goal in his 19th game this season. Hard to believe.
And there will be a quiz later on how many teams Mason McTavish has played for this hockey season.
Yes. He's up to quite the number. Verbetic out to play the puck behind his net. He gets it up. And Russell misses the handle of it. And it's right back into the Battalion zone behind the net. Morrison trying to get it from Nelson. And Nelson takes a couple of shots at Morrison and can't get it out. Puck back to Grushnikov. And Hayes with it. Hayes tries to get it across ice, but instead it's to Coe. And Coe's pass misses Russell. Russell losing the puck as Jackson comes in and tries to get it from Hayes, but it's off his skates and then across ice with 1:45 left. Puck back into the neutral zone for Hayes. Hayes looking cross ice for Van Vliet, but instead Coe's the one that gets it, and he just chips it down to the Bulldog zone. Grushnikov behind the net. Looking for some options, as once again Hayes is cherry picking. Must be nice. Up to Morrison. Humphrey back to Morrison, who loses it, and McDonald's going to go up with some speed. McDonald looking to get past Grushnikov, and it's blocked by Morrison, who then tries to get it out, but it can't get off the skate of Hayes. What a shot by McDonald, but it's blocked. And the Troops going to regroup with another shot from McDonald. It's another one that's blocked. Another close shot by Van Steensel, and it's a nice save by Droback. Big hits in the corner now between McDonald and Jack-Eye. And the puck goes all the way down to the Battalion zone with a minute left.
That's a lot of poundage right there, McDonald and Jack-Eye.
Yes, it is. Verbetic playing the puck behind his net. He gives it away out behind the net, but the Bulldogs can't capitalize on it. So Mysak gets it out back to the blue line for Jack-Eye. The two Montreal Canadian prospects picking up on the puck on that one. And Diaco chipping it in. And Arnsby's the first one to get it. 24 seconds left on the clock. Arnsby looks to get it up ice for Van Steensel. And Van Steensel was taken hard into the boards by Staios instead. Kramer looking up ice. 13 seconds left now. Gets it up to Diaco, and Diaco just chips it in. 7 seconds left on the clock. Christopoulos picks it up. Christopoulos looking up ice for one more chance maybe for the Troops, and he gets it to the red line and dumps it in. And that'll do it for this one. And I think there's going to be some work to do in the third for the North Bay Battalion.
I think North Bay to get back in this game, they've started to do it, a little more physical play. Hamilton looks really settled in their own zone. Courtney talked about cherry picking, but I think they're doing that because they're pretty confident that North Bay's not going to have any sustained pressure, and they look very settled is the best word for Hamilton, and fully deserve that 3-1 lead. Not a lot of shots in this game, just 14-10 through 2 periods, so one of the low shot totals of the game. Around the OHL, Erie and Niagara, 3-2 for the Ice Dogs, who will play the Battalion in their next game on Saturday night. Tonight's game against Erie is in St. Catharines. Also, Mississauga and Peterborough tied at 2. Of course, the Battalion trying to stay ahead of the Steelheads in the Central. And Saginaw trails Windsor 3-1. Alex Christopoulos with a goal for the Spitfires. A lot of travel miles for the Christopoulos parents with the trade of Alex to Windsor. Of course, Paul plays here. So North Bay got 1 goal in that period. Hamilton got 2, and they lead at 3-1. Shots were 8-6 Hamilton, 14-10 overall. Each team with a couple of power plays. Faceoffs won 17-15 Hamilton. No power play goals. The 3 goals in that period after Nathan Steos opened the scoring at 1:20 of the first. Tanias Mathurin tied it at 1:09 of the second, so 2 early goals. Kyle McDonald and Owen Van Steensel with assists. Logan Morrison has the game winner right now, gave them a 2-1 lead, his 31st of the year from Ryan Humphrey, and at 10:07, and then Mason McTavish with a beauty, his 14th of the year, unassisted at 17:31. So 3-1 after 2, and the Battalion will be on the road, as we mentioned. Next 2 games, Saturday night in St. Catharines against Niagara, Sunday afternoon in Mississauga against the Steelheads in a big one, and their next home game will be a week from tonight. Final visit from Niagara this season. As we bring in our friend Ben Long, producer extraordinaire. Ben, 3-1 after 2. North Bay tied it, and they were gaining some momentum, but Hamilton responded, showing they're quite the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to argue with Hamilton's depth, right? They have a couple guys that were making it. Actually, 3 guys on the roster right now at least made it through to last cuts at the NHL teams. Mysak and Arbor both made it deep into the cuts, and obviously McTavish, who was there for, I think, the maximum amount of games before they have to send them back. Is he not?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and they're not losing it. They're not using the fellow they had in the Prospects game last night. He's not playing today. They're going with their number 2 goalie, who hasn't been tested that much, really, just 10 shots. So Hamilton's proving they can play the defense, low-scoring game, but they can also score the goal when they need to. And but I think what North Bay has to do is they have to be more physical against this team. They have to make it tough for them in their own zone so they can wear them out, play more physical so they get those scoring opportunities, because as Courtney said, they do have a couple of forwards who are always hanging around the blue line looking for that break.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I'm seeing that Battalion could be doing, and the one is sort of they could start doing the stretching out the defense that Hamilton's doing. North Bay tends to come out of their own end 5 at a time, where Hamilton's keeping them really stretched out and getting out of their end really quickly. The problem also with North Bay's 5 at a time approach leaving their end is it gets really trapped up in the neutral zone and as they cross the blue line. And that's where Hamilton seems to really have them just stifled. They're not getting in, they're not getting some good possession in the end like they usually do. We're also seeing a lot more icing out of North Bay, and I think that's more just a frustration of not being able to get the puck out and get good plays like they're used to, so they're just firing it down.
Okay, Ben, and updating the Lakers game. 3 minutes to go, third period, in the quarterfinals at the Nationals in Charlottetown. Nipissing and UBC, still no score. So 1 goal is going to apparently decide it. So we'll continue to update you on that. Earlier this week, the boys had a chance on their Frontline podcast to talk Battalion stuff. Let's hear that now.
Welcome back to another episode of the Frontline Podcast, as Tom says, your favorite podcast about the Battalion. Although the more I think about it, the more I don't think there is another podcast on the North Bay Battalion. So I might be being played by Tom just a little bit. Anyways, we are pleased to be joined this week by the goaltending coach of your North Bay Battalion, Maverick Parks. It's quite an important job, Maverick, I would say, coaching the 2 goaltenders of the team. So thank you very much for joining the podcast. We really appreciate you coming on this week.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Glad you guys can get me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a lot of questions, obviously, because usually we ask goaltending questions to Adam Dennis, but now we have someone else to poke and prod a little bit about, because Tom and I, of course, Tom's not here this week, but Tom and I are big fans of goaltenders, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun questions coming your way. But first and foremost, what's it like working with these 2 guys, Joe Verbetic and Dom DiVincentis?
It's truly a blessing when you have 2 capable goalies of these. You know, in this league, you have a little bit of an older guy in Verbetic and a younger guy in Joe, and you know, they're really at two different ends of the spectrums in the sense of Joe's easygoing, relax, Dom's high intensity, but I think they've kind of molded together and, you know, really made a great tandem this year.
Yeah, we've it's kind of a bit of a running joke that Dom's the most high maintenance guy we've heard of. Straight from Macker with the equipment to how he is in the dressing room. So when it comes to the on ice side of things, would you say he's pretty high maintenance too?
I wouldn't use the word high maintenance. I word ambitious, motivated, those type of words. He's a student of the game. He loves the game. He loves to learn. He wants to get better every day. And when, you know, you have such a young student of the game, he's only going to get better each and every day. And I think he's proven that over the course of this season. He's got drastically better as we've went on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think when it comes to being a goaltender, being high maintenance is necessarily a bad thing. But as you mentioned, very ambitious, and we like to see that. When these two guys come into the league, I mean, this is Joe's second year, even though he's a 19-year-old. Thanks to the situation, this is Dom's rookie season. Coming into stuff like that, is there any emphasis on them about personal stats or anything like that, or are they just kind of looking for like a process and to see if they're going to get better game by game type of thing?
You know, a lot of goaltenders tend to look at their stats a little bit too much, in my opinion. And I've kind of preached it all year. You know, worry about getting wins, most importantly, and your stats will take care of themselves. And I think they've both done a great job of having a learning experience of this year of having moments. I think, you know, earlier on, you know, Joe was playing a lot of games and I wouldn't say consumed, but definitely on his mind with those types of thoughts. And once he kind of, you know, and they're young kids and Joe missed a year. So training your mind and how to stay in the moment, I think is the biggest thing. And when you can do that and not listen to outside voices or, you know, watch the numbers, I think you're bound to have success.
Now, being his goaltending coach, you know, I've seen a lot of people when it comes to Joe have looked at his equipment and they're like, wow, that's cool. He's got, you know, battalion related equipment. Why does he have the white glove? You know, learning some of the stories that he came from Montreal Canadiens and stuff. But for to kind of put it in perspective, is there kind of a mental hurdle there where he's like, I know this is a bit much more comfortable glove, or what's the story? Like, why does he love that glove so much?
I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Carey Price.
Yeah.
Not a bad goalie. So having that little bit of stigma that attached to Carey, personally, I think it's a little bit. He won't admit it, but I think it's a little bit of an attachment to Carey. But I mean, you know, with this year with COVID and everything, a lot of gear and stuff has been put on back order and stuff. So it is a different glove, different break, opposed to the one that he did order. So I will give him that as a benefit of the doubt. But it is slightly different. He says the other one's on order, but hey, I've yet to see it. So
Well, it's the phantom glove, I think, at this point. And you know what? The joke with our broadcast too is you know, the Golden Glove Award in baseball. Well, he's got a Golden Glove, even though it's white out there. So is his glove hand? I mean, both those guys, their glove hands are fantastic to watch. They're very calm and collected with them. They're not very erratic with them. So it's nice to see for sure.
yeah, no, that's those are traits of NHL goaltenders. You know, you see a lot of young goaltenders. You know, you want to make the big save and they're windmilling. Yes, it does occasionally happen, but from you know, a goaltender that's played for a while and been through the process and talked to a lot of NHL scouts, they don't want to see windmills. They want to see control. They want to see consistency and showing that. That discipline of, you know, getting to that position and making a simple glove save instead of, you know, leaning away and making a windmill save. Yeah, they do look better, but it's not quite as consistent as we would like.
Yeah, or you get the time that Patrick Waugh decided to showboat and threw it into his own net instead. That was always fantastic, right? So
Yep.
When it comes to goaltending, a lot of the adage seems to be that it's pretty important, the game between the ears, as much as it is out there on the ice as well. How do you try and teach that to these guys, type of thing, that, you know, like if something's not going well, maybe their mechanics look really well out there, but the puck's still going in, type of thing? How do you keep them calm and collected?
You know, I just try to relate with personal experiences. You know, I played 4 years in the OHL, and doing that, you're going to have ups and downs through a career, and even in pro, you have ups and downs. Just as I've been through it, I think channeling your energy in different areas is going to help you break through and shorten those, you know, those hiccups in the road. So, you know, it's easy when you don't have someone to give you structure or some, you know, a relation to what happened. I think get stuck in that rut, sorry. But just sharing experiences and how to get out of it. And honestly, the biggest thing is just staying in the moment. And, you know, it's kind of micromanagement in a sense, because when I say stay in the moment, it's not simply stay in the moment of, you know, a full period even, or one game at a time. We're breaking it down shift by shift, shot by shot. And that way your mind's gonna, you know, be fully engaged.
And that's great advice on goaltending this week on the Frontline podcast with Courtney Kenny and Tom Parise about goaltending, and that's so important right now for Joe Verbetic. He knows he can't let in anymore, but he's gotta you know, it's gonna be tough for North Bay to get 4 goals tonight, but you know that if you're Joe Verbetic, you can't give up that 4th one. Got to get the next one and then work on tying it up. So we're just watching here on the big screen the quarterfinal between Nipissing and UBC. They're in overtime at the Nationals, and Charlottetown, Nipissing all over them. They're trying to score again and doing a little play-by-play here, but it's what a year they have had, the Nipissing women, and you hope it doesn't end tonight. It won't. They will have another game, but as far as the championship, you hope it doesn't end tonight. But they're putting on a great show in Charlottetown. They put on a great year, making the Macaw Cup final, losing here last week to Brock. And they're making a lot of people in Nipissing very proud. But I'm sure there's a lot of tension right now in the city right now watching this game.
Yeah, as much as North Bay's really looked at some as a hockey town, the university really hasn't put on a strong program, and I think there's exterior factors that lead to that. But to have the ladies team come out and be such a strong team this year has been I think, great for the hockey community and the city in general.
Yeah, I remember talking to Mike McParland when he got the men's program going, and he said so hard to recruit players. They didn't know where Nipissing was, and some people thought it was in Thunder Bay, and they didn't. But Darren Turcotte and Mike's done a great job. They made the playoffs this year. They won a big game against McGill. He was named to the OUAA East Coach of the Year, along with former North Bay Battalion forward Harrison Keynes as well. And the women, you know, they got in a couple years later, and they have been tremendous. They've been in the national top 10 at various times over the last 4 years, I think, and they've been tremendous. I know our own Matt Sukram and Derek Lindemann see their games. They know a lot more about the Lakers than I do, but they did a great job getting to the Macaw Cup final, and here they are trying to get to the national semifinals if they can get that next goal.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, and even if their chase ends tonight, the big thing for them is that it shows younger girls in North Bay playing hockey that, you know, for a long time, women's hockey just wasn't a thing. And it shows them that, you know, there's something past minor hockey that you can do, that you can push, you can actually do something. You know, you can use it in your pursuit of your university career and stepping forward, and, you know, oncoming women's leagues that are developing possibly in tandem with the NHL.
So there's just over 2 minutes left in overtime in the quarterfinals. Nipissing trying to win it, and they just did. The Nipissing Lakers will play in the semifinals in a couple of days. A shot from the point, and finally Nipissing dominating that overtime just as the teams came on the ice. So I can't give you a replay, but And there's so much emotion and jubilation right now. Great by the Battalion to show that gain to the fans here at the end here. And Nipissing, how about it, Courtney Kenny? Come Saturday, Nipissing will be in the semifinals, and win or lose that game, they'll be playing for a medal at the Nationals this year.
Yeah, what wonderful progress by that team. And as we get the goal horn here as well to signal that goal was just scored. And you know what? It's funny, you watch the Battalion bench when they came out, the eyes of the coaches were glued on that screen as well, seeing what was going on. But you know what? This program has come a long way from having nothing 10, 12 years ago for the women's side.
And you think about it, these players, you know, they show up for practice. The women show up for practice roughly at the same time, so they would see each other on a daily basis. So great news for the Lakers, and now the Battalion have to get back to work on Memorial Gardens ice. Down 3-1, Courtney, as we start the third.
Yes, big task ahead for the Battalion, who when they trail after 2 periods, they are 7-13-1. As we get underway with the Battalion in their home greens going right to left, and the Bulldogs going left to right in their road whites, as we get a quick icing call here with 20 seconds played in the third period. Shots on goal favor the Bulldogs 14-10, and the score, of course, is 3-1, Bob.
Yeah, not a lot of shots in this game. Only 10, as you say, by North Bay, and I think that's what North Bay's got to do. They've got to use their physical play to get some zone time. They haven't had a lot of sustained zone time. You mentioned the cherry picking that Hamilton does. Take advantage of that by keeping the puck in their zone.
Absolutely. As the puck is won back to Jack-Eye, who sends it deep into the zone. Jack-Eye with a quick shot in on Verbetic, and he's just going to knife it into the corner and up into the netting and out of play.
Don't forget, our next a week from today is our next game, Courtney, on our game day broadcast here. That'll be next Thursday. Final visit of the regular season by the Niagara Ice Dogs.
The Ice Dogs, a team that seems to have had the Battalion number a lot of times this year. They've played them well, even though they're last place in the Eastern Conference this year. As the puck's down to the Bulldog zone for Jack-Eye. Over to Kramer. Kramer loses the handle to Coe. Coe up to Jackson. Jackson to Russell. Russell with the shot, and it's saved by Droback. Russell back out front to Jackson. Jackson misses the handle on it. Nelson tries to get around the ice to Coe, but it gets out to the blue line to Winslow. Winslow sends it in deep for Jackson to chase after it. Jackson up with Kramer, gets it up to Coe, and it's into the slot for Winslow. Winslow with the shot, but it's blocked by Jack-Eye. Coe now with handle on it, and he gives it off to Jackson. Jackson back to Winslow. Winslow up to Coe at the half wall, over to Mathurin, the goal scorer for the Troops. Mathurin with the shot in front, but it's blocked by Morrison. Hayes going for a skate. He's just going to get it up into the Battalion zone, and they're going to go for a change. Mathurin behind the net. Back in his first game after a lengthy time off to injury. Gives it to Arnsby, who then dumps it in, and Droback goes and plays behind his net. Puck now out for McTavish into the neutral zone. McTavish over to Thomas. Thomas in deep into the Battalion zone. He blows a tire in the corner, but McTavish is there to pick it up. And he gets it back to Grushnikov. Grushnikov with the shot, but it's well wide. And McDonald picks it up in the corner. McDonald in a battle against the boards. Loses it to Winterton, but McDonald then picks it back up at the blue line. McDonald looking for some options. He goes rinks up across ice trying to get to Arnsby, but instead Winterton intercepts it. Winterton carrying it up. He tries to get into the Battalion zone. He's going to dump it in and chase after it for Christopoulos. Winterton coming away with it, though, passes it out front to Tarasevich. Tarasevich with the interception, passing it over to Christopoulos. And Christopoulos is going to carry it up and dump it all the way into the Bulldog zone. Tarasevich taking it into the corner. He's just being held on there. Van Vliet now just kind of riding on his back. We've seen that a couple of times here by the Bulldogs as well. And now he lets Tarasevich get back up, and the puck comes free. Diaco up to McTavish. McTavish back to Diaco, and the puck's going to go into the Battalion zone for Verbetic to stop it up for Lukin. Lukin takes the body and sends it back into the corner. Christopoulos goes after it. Christopoulos looking for some options. He tries to get away from Diaco. He's going to lose the handle on it, but Tarasevich is going to recover. Tarasevich cross ice to Petrov. Petrov carries it in, tries to get over to Tarasevic, but he hits a leg in front. Now it's rimmed around for Petrov from Tarasevic, who sends it back deep for Wakely. Wakely over to Petrov. Petrov with the bad angle shot, and he almost beats Drobak. Over to Petrov in the slot, and he fans on the shot. Puck now behind the net. It's left out front, and it was almost knotted or put in the back of the net, but instead Drobak's going to knock it out, and the puck comes out to the Battalion zone. Mysak now, leaving it for Diaco. Back to Mysak. He's going to knock it around for Shirk. Shirk's going to rim around for Grushnikov, who loses the handle to Lukin. And the puck is back into the neutral zone. Shirk now gaining the Battalion zone. Loses it to Wakely, though, who then promptly loses it to Diaco. Diaco with the sharp angle shot as well. And Verbetic stands tall. Owater with it in the neutral zone. Decides to dump it cross ice under the far side corner of the Bulldogs zone. And Steos picks it up. Steos, who got the goal scoring started off, loses the handle to Sema, but Sema gives it promptly right back to Steos. Puck goes down all the way, and it's going to be an icing call here with 15:41 left in the third period.
Okay, Courtney, one more Nipissing note. Madison Soley with the winner in overtime, so she may never have to buy another drink at Nipissing on all those reunions, because she just put the Lakers in the semifinals. And Saturday, it'll be Nipissing against UNB in the first semifinal at the Nationals in Charlottetown.
Be interesting to I wonder how many more years she has left at Nipissing, or if this is her final year, because I was going to say she could really enjoy that no drinks for a couple of years if she's in her second or first year.
That's great stuff, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic news. As now we get a stoppage here while we're still waiting for puck drops, as one of the referees is talking to the benches.
It's a big face-off. See if North Bay could get that sustained zone time, which we've been talking about. I know Ryan Olahan's probably going to shorten his bench a little here in the third period. Try to get the top offensive players out on the ice more often. But they don't win the draw, and Hamilton quickly gets it down the ice.
Another icing call, though, however. So the puck's going to go back into the Bulldog zone with the exact same personnel out there for the troops.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting how they play it. Hamilton's willing to play this game, right? Just not give up a lot defensively and just be sound in the North Bay zone, not take chances. You can do that with a 2-goal lead. That's why North Bay's got to put some offensive pressure on here.
Shot from Russell right off the face-off, and Drobak with the high blocker save. And the puck is sent down in on Verbetic. Verbetic's just going to calmly cover it up and say, let's just reset things here, as he saw some Bulldogs barreling down on him.
Usually, Courtney, in a game like this, top two teams, you either get a wild, physical game, a lot of hitting, lots of anger towards each other, or you get this sort of, I don't want to show you my best stuff yet. And I think it's the latter, not the former here tonight. You wouldn't know this was a game between two conference rivals. It hasn't played out like that so far.
No, but that said, even if the Bulldogs aren't showing off their best stuff, they're still a very scary team.
Oh, for sure.
As they lead 3-1 in this one, as the puck's all the way back down to the Bulldog zone. Morrison now carrying it up to the red line and dumps it in. And Nelson almost losing it to Winterton, or Humphrey rather. And the puck's going to come out to the neutral zone again. Winslow dumping it down. And Hayes is going to go after it. Hayes in his own zone, looking up ice. Skates it over the blue line, then the red line. And he's going to gain the Battalion zone before dumping it in far side. McDonald, cross ice to Van Steensel, who leaves it up for Arnsby. Arnsby now carries it in, up to McDonald. McDonald with the shot! Kyle McDonald gets the troops within one. And the Battalion now are only down by 1 goal off Kyle McDonald's 34th of the season.
Well, we talked about a goal scorer's goal by Mason McTavish. That was a goal scorer's goal by Kyle McDonald. What an acquisition he's been from Windsor. And great stuff there, and makes it a 1-goal game. And the crowd comes alive here on that snapshot by Kyle McDonald. And North Bay back in it here, down 1 with lots of time left, 14:29. What a story he's been, solidifying the offense on that second line. And most of the time he's not on the number 1 power play unit, right? So he's just been a breath of fresh air, and what an acquisition by Adam Dennis.
What an acquisition for sure. As the puck goes up ice. And the Bulldogs get into the neutral zone. We had him on the podcast. He told a little story of him coming up to North Bay. And he was a little bit worried because he didn't have winter tires. So he told us that the trip up was a little harrowing. But he did get up here safe, of course. And said his dad came up and visited for the first weekend and immediately put some winter tires on for him.
Good idea.
Winterton now comes up with a shot at the face-off dot, but he can't get it away. Van Steensel chases it down the ice. And White now has it in his zone. White looking up ice, but it's going to go all the way down for icing as Bethurne's the first one back.
Okay, Courtney, McDonald had 17 goals for the Windsor Spitfires. He now has 17 goals for the North Bay Battalion. That's the impact he's had since the trade deadline. I mean, so in 2022, basically, he's had 17 goals in about 10 weeks. So what a story he's been for the battalion.
If he comes back for an overage season, he might challenge Justin Brazo for that goal-scoring crown. He might just do that. As the puck's back to Winslow at the blue line, who takes a shot in.
It just makes it crazy how sports works, right? Because he was on a good team in Windsor. Windsor could finish as the top seed or the second seed in the West this year. They just clinched the playoff spot this week. But he wasn't benefiting from all the success they were having. Ups to North Bay in virtually the same situation. And he was the perfect complement to what they needed on the second line.
Yeah, what a strange trade. It's Petrov with a quick shot off the face-off dot. Podolou sends it out front. And it's left for Petrov. Back to Nelson. Leave the shot on, but it's blocked in front, and it looks like we're going to get a high sticking call, and that'll blow the play dead. But yeah, what a strange trade for the Spitfires, giving up Ladd and McDonald in that one for Curry and some picks. It's almost like a trade that you make when you're rebuilding, but as you mentioned, those Spitfires, very strong team and have looked pretty good since as well.
Yeah, they're very dangerous in the West, and like you say, two former battalion players on that team, Josh Curry and Alex Christopoulos, who got another goal tonight. So, yeah, good for both teams. Mysek
now coming in. He skates around the back of the net for Verbetic. He gets back out to Steos. Steos takes an intentionally wide shot to try and get a bank off the boards, but instead it's sent out front, and Podalou's going to get it out to the neutral zone. Podolou from the point that he scored against Barrie in that last game, and it's going to be covered up by Drobeck, and we're going to get a couple of pushing and shoving here after the whistle. And yeah, when we had a friend of the show, Adam Dennis, on last, he said, wouldn't that be something to have welcome back Alex Christopoulos and Josh Curry in the OHL Finals for Memorial Gardens?
I haven't seen a lot of pushing and shoving tonight. That was about the only time. It was like Derek Lindemann when the chicken wings come to the table. But
he throws some elbows sometimes.
But I haven't seen a lot of that tonight. But maybe some animosity here in the third.
Absolutely, as the puck's won back to Mathern, who just sends it in deep. And Morrison now comes up with it. Morrison to his captain, Kramer. And it's left out for Coe, who skates over it, and Morrison picks it up. Over to Ladd now. Back to Coe. Coe into the middle for Jackson. Jackson over to Russell. Russell with the shot, and it's wide. And Ladd with a good hustle keeps it in and gets it in deep for for Coe. Coe now comes around with it. He brings it out front. Leaves it for Jackson. Jackson looking to take a shot. It's shot in, but it's blocked in front. As Coe and Jack-Eye now having some words. So maybe the animosity is going to ratchet up a little bit as Winterton takes a sharp angle shot. And Verbetic saves it. Coming out is Hayes with a shot, but is stopped by Verbetic. And back behind the net from Ladd goes back to Hayes. Hayes skates it out to the blue line. He loses the handle of it and has to go back out to the neutral zone. So the Bulldogs will have to touch back or touch up. And Hayes in that line is just going to go for a line change. But you know what? It's pretty scary when you see Morrison and Hayes go off, and out comes McTavish's line. So
yeah, Logan Morrison's not on your top line.
No, it's pretty scary, isn't it? As Wakely comes up with it and loses it to McTavish, who takes a shot. And Verbetic standing tall for the troops. With 11:28 now left in the third, another stoppage in play. 3-2 is the score for the Bulldogs. Shots are almost even now, 18-16 in favor of the Bulldogs.
This is baptism under fire for guys like Wakely and Outwater Van Steensel. Guys haven't been in a lot of games like this against a top team, and McTavish sees the puck. He knows what to do with it, and you've got to move that puck out of harm's way very quickly. But the experience these young guys are getting is going to pay off, but playing against a top team like Hamilton.
Oh, yes. The Battalion, I would say, are much better suited for the future than a team like the Bulldogs. But the Bulldogs are built for now. And so are the troops in a sense as well, as Sema gets it up to the bench and loses it from Outwater, picks it up and carries it in before losing the handle on that as well. Puck sent in deep by the Bulldogs, and Verbetic's just going to stop it up.
But the young guys, Courtney, they don't look out of place, do
No.
they? They don't look like they're deer in the headlights look. They look very comfortable with playing this style of high-energy hockey.
Wakely dumps it down the ice. No icing as Sema was the first one down to it. And here comes Sims. Sims carrying the puck up. He's just going to send it into the Battalion bench as he tries to chip it off the boards. And we're going to get another stoppage in play.
So 10:46 left, 3-2. This is when the tension ramps up. Hamilton wants that fourth goal to take the game back. North Bay, of course, wants to tie it up. So it's going to be an interesting last half of the third here.
Edge of your seat hockey from here on out for sure. As the Bulldogs dump it down the ice and Winslow chases after it, but no icing as it was stopped up in the neutral zone. McTavish, the former third overall pick to the Anaheim Ducks, trips up Winslow, but no call. And the puck's back out to the neutral zone. Rushnikov up ice for Thomas. And Thomas leaves it for Winterton. Winterton now behind the Battalion bench, skates it out and sends it back to the point. Rushnikov with the heavy shot, but is blocked by Van Steensel. Winterton now with a chance. He loses it. McTavish out front. He gets behind Verbetic, but instead the Battalion get it out. And instead Thomas picks it up and gets it behind Verbetic. 4-2 lead for the Hamilton Bulldogs.
Yeah, Verbetic stopped the initial shot, and the puck hung around in his crease. The Battalion cleared it for a moment, but then Hamilton kept at it, and Thomas scores, and it's a 2-goal lead. North Bay looking for a call there, and whether there was goaltender interference, I'm not sure, but right now there's a conversation between the refs and Liam Arnsby.
Well, I'm going to go on a limb and say if the NHL doesn't know what goaltending interference is, the OHL certainly doesn't either.
I don't know.
I don't think it was interference, though.
No, but Ryan Olahan sent Liam Arnsby over there. And Liam didn't seem too happy with the answer he got, so looks like this goal is going to count. Hamilton's all ready to go. North Bay, they're doing some talking over there.
Well, of course Hamilton's ready to go. They scored the goal. They want to keep playing. Let's go. We're up 4-2.
I think they're waiting for the referee to wander over there, so Ryan has his say.
Well, we talked about getting on the bad side of head coach Ryan Houlihan. I don't know if that's going to cause it or not.
Did you see it? That was a cool coaching move by Coach Houlihan. Okay, you won't come over and tell me. All right, I'm just going to have my guys here on the bench.
Yeah.
Stand here
like
till you wander over and give me an explanation.
It's like a little mini strike or something.
It's good negotiation by Coach Houlihan there, but I don't know if it's going to amount to much.
Doesn't look like it. And the Battalion are going to have to play on with 10 minutes left with a 2-goal deficit.
Yeah, that's a key goal for Hamilton. And it's 4-2.
I don't like it. The fans don't like it. You at home probably don't like it. But here we are anyways.
I know Brian Floyd doesn't like it.
Brian Floyd definitely does not like it. You can probably hear him on the broadcast probably say some not some safe words as Petrov takes a sharp angle shot on Drobak, and the puck's back out to the blue line. Back up for Tarasevic, who leaves it for Podolou. It'll be interesting to see if Ryan loads up one of his top lines here as well to try and get some more offense. Petrov over to Ladd. Ladd takes a shot, and it's blocked by Drobak and out to the blue line. Shirk now into the Battalion zone. He tries to get across ice, but it just misses everybody and goes into the corner. Podolou now with it. Podolou leaves it for Ladd. Ladd dumps it out, but it doesn't get out of the blue line, and Steos keeps it in. Mathurin now looking up ice. He's going to get it out finally. Skates it up. And it's going to go deep into the Bulldogs zone for Grushnikov. Bulldogs back in. Passing it back out front. Diaco almost gets a chance, moving or swinging his stick around and almost bats the puck in. It's into the corner instead for Jackson, who's riding a 2-game pointless streak coming into this one, so not like Kyle Jackson that we've seen this year. Could definitely use some offense from him here as the puck comes out and hits a spectator in the head. And we're going to get our mid-period break on that one.
Well, and the after the game, we'll have our post-game show, of course. I'll be joined by Ben Long. Courtney will get comments from Ryan Olahan. And they may be critical ones. I'm not sure. Down a couple of goals as we enter the second half of the period. By the way, we did check the Mississauga game. It's 2-2 in the third with Peterborough. Remember, Mississauga is 2 points back of the Battalion, so they could move into a tie for top spot. After tonight's game, North Bay has 9 games left. Mississauga has 7, and the two teams will meet again Sunday afternoon in Mississauga. So, I know it's great leading your division, but you can't forget about the Steelheads, Courtney.
No, and the Battalion will gain a game back on the Steelheads as of Saturday.
Right.
Because they'll be taking on the Ice Dogs while the Steelheads will be out of action. So you got to win that game against the Ice Dogs going into Sunday's matchup against the Steelheads.
24-34 the attendance tonight. 29-80 on the 50-50 side.
Someone's going home happy with that money in their pocket. Jackson wins the faceoff back to Nelson, who gets it back to Jackson. Russell now dumps it in deep. And the puck's going to go all the way back out into the neutral zone and back into the Battalion zone for Winslow to chase after. Winslow leaving it for Nelson. Nelson tries to get it up for Russell, but it's out of his reach, but it's back for Winslow into the neutral zone. Jack-Eye chipping it out. As the pace of play has kind of slowed down slightly a little bit since that fourth goal. And we're going to get the puck dumped down into the Battalion zone for Nelson to go after it. And we're going to get our icing call here with 8:16 left in the third.
So the Battalion are going to have to shorten their bench, open things up a little, take some chances, try to get that third goal to make things interesting down the stretch here for Courtney. We want to see Courtney get excited, so North Bay needs that third goal to get us there.
Well, if Mr. Floyd lives and dies on every play, I probably live and die on every second. It's the tough life being a fan and a broadcaster at the same time. And we get the puck off with a quick shot from McDonald, the most recent goal scorer for the Troops. That's going to go wide and back down to the Battalion zone as we see Petrov now out there on Van Steensel's spot. So Ormsby, McDonald, and Van Steensel, or Petrov, which I think is a decent call here. We'll see if Petrov can provide any more offense with more ice time. Mathurin chipping it into the Battalion zone again. And we're going to get it on the near side half wall. Winterton carries it out. Winterton with the backhanded shot. It's now a 5-2 game for the Hamilton Bulldogs.
You know, we've talked about McTavish, we've talked about Morrison, and there's another guy, Ryan Winterton, another guy that a Seattle draft pick. This Hamilton team has playing tonight 5 NHL draft picks. So Ryan Winterton, though, again, people don't talk about him. And he's a really good player. He's a really smart player, knows what to do with the puck. Good down the middle. And what a backhander that he just scored on to beat Joe Verbetic. So Hamilton showing its depth tonight, up 5-2 now with less than 8 to go, Courtney.
That's Winterton's 16th of the season. And the shots on goal are now 20-18 as Verbetic covers it up as the puck is dumped in on him. 7:35 left in the third period.
But Ryan Winterton may just have 16 goals, but he's the type of guy that NHL teams are going to love to center their third line, right? Because he does it all. He plays down the middle. He knows what to do with the puck. He's unselfish. He's never in a bad position. And, you know, and he's got a great approach to the game in both ends.
Quick shot off the draw by Anderson, and it goes wide. Outwater now with it. Gives it back to Lucan, who gets across ice for Christopoulos. And dumping it down is Christopoulos. It doesn't look like it'll have the legs for icing as Steos gets back to it and dumps it back up. We got people in the media row just browsing on their phones now. That's how tuned out they are. And now we have the Battalion in their back of their own zone, and they get it up to the neutral zone. Outwater quickly up to Wakely. Wakely tries to get it in deep, and he's going to fan on the shot. Outwater now gets it back to Christopoulos. Christopoulos dumps it in deep for Wakely. Wakely behind his net. And it's a quick shot by Sema, but it just goes wide and through the crease. Outwater pinned up against the boards now at the far side half wall. Gets across ice for Lucan. Lucan just going to dump it back in. Wakely tries to get it, but it goes past him. Out front for Sema. And it's not going to get to Sema as the Bulldogs are going to stop that one. Wakely dumps it down, and the fourth line is going to go for a change. And we're going to see that third line come out with Petrov once again on it. Bulldogs send it up ice. And Mysick now coming in, tries to get the pass across, but Winslow stopping that. Quick shot attempt by Shirk, but it's fanned on and left for Tarasevic. Petrov now up ice. Petrov looking to do something on his own. He tries to cut to the front of the net, but he can't quite get the handle on it. 6 minutes left now in this third period. Diaco tries to get the pass off into the Battalion zone and finally finds Mysick, but he can't get a shot away. Back to Grushnikov, who takes the shot, and it goes wide. Puck in for Nelson, who goes for a skate behind his net. He looks up ice, waiting for some changes as the Battalion gets that top line of Coe out there. Coe now carries it into the Bulldogs zone. Stops up, tries to get out front for Petrov. Petrov can't quite get the handle on it as he's checked well by the Bulldogs. Puck back in deep. Mathern's going to find it on the near side half wall. He gets it back out to Ladd at the point. He takes a shot. Takes a bit of a funny bounce. And Coe almost had an open net. Coe back to Ladd. Takes a shot off the post. And that would have been a much needed third goal for the troops with 5 minutes left. Jackson gets around, and now Ladd with the big hit on the far side wall. And they get it back to the Bulldogs, who carry it back up the ice. Big hit now onto Mathurin. You don't like to see that as his helmet ends up in the back of the net and he has to go off the ice. Puck now to Sims, who loses it. Now Kramer now carries across the blue line, takes a shot, but it's blocked by Ladd. 4:30 left in this third period. Jackson tries to get up to Christopoulos. Christopoulos misses it, but he gets up in the play, and Coe sends it up to him, but he misses it, and they have to go back and regroup. The Bulldogs now in for Sims, who takes the shot, and it's off the blocker of Verbetic and into the corner. And Winterton takes a shot. It goes wide of Verbetic's net. Back to Morrison. And a quick shot from the blue line, and it bounces out front. A very friendly bounce for Kramer, who tries to get the shot away, but can't get it. And then Morrison almost gets a chance. Winterton, high shot. It's off the end boards. Lucan now in the corner with Morrison. Lucan pins under the boards. And it's back for a big shot by Jackeye, and it's just become a firing range towards Verbetic, but the Bulldogs, for whatever reason, can't hit the net. Chance now for Humphrey, who's taken it hard to the boards by Christopoulos. And Russell skates it up and chips it in. Now, if you're the Battalion, you have to keep your emotions in check. You don't need to want to take any suspensions here this late in the season. McDonald with the shot turns around, and it's going to go over Drobak's net and out of play. So with 3:32 left in the third period, we're going to have another stoppage of play.
Yeah, we haven't had a game like this at Memorial Gardens in a long time. But it's understandable, right? You're up against it, and this is the team that, you're going to have to figure out a way to play better than you have tonight. I mean, Hamilton just is a machine right now. The way they play defense, the way they get scoring chances, and their goalie hasn't been tested that much.
No. 18 shots against. He's made 16 saves. And the Bulldogs now with it in the neutral zone. Grushnikov over to Steos, back to Grushnikov. Up to Winterton, who just chips it in. Nelson goes after it. Winslow trying to chip it up. 3 minutes left on the clock. Puck at the Battalion blue line, but Winterton gets the handle on it and gets it up to McTavish. McTavish takes the bad angle shot. And it's a big save by Verbetic as well. Can't let McTavish just have his way with you like that. Shot coming in from the point. And it's blocked by Verbetic and into the corner for Nelson. Nelson's clearing attempt lost to Winterton. Back to Nelson now as Winterton lost the handle on it. McDonald now going to stop the icing. And he's into the corner and just pins the puck up. McDonald being pulled down. Referee's just saying play on. Ladd getting the pass off as he falls to Russell. Russell out front to Jackson. Kyle Jackson with 2:25 left in the third period brings the Battalion back within 2. It's a 5-3 hockey game, Bob.
Yeah, North Bay not upset that there was no call on the McDonald play. They just fed it to the net and it went in. So nothing complicated. Pretty simple play by the Battalion. Just get it on net and it gives them a fighter's chance, down 2 with 2:25, and I'm sure they're going to pull Verbetic now if they can score, make it a 1-goal game, but they're going to have to do it quickly here. But good on the Battalion, not giving up, continuing to try and get that third goal, and they did.
That's Jackson's 25th of the season. We'll see if it energizes North Bay at all, as Ladd picks it up in his own zone and gets it up ice to Coe. Coe looking cross ice for Russell. And Russell carries it in offside with 2:11 now left in the third period. Shots on goal, as after it got pretty even there for a little while, Bulldogs have now pulled ahead again, 26-19.
Mitchell Russell pretty quiet tonight. Hasn't been his usual annoying self to the opposition, and it'll be interesting whether the lines get rejuggled in the next game, whether Petrov goes back on that top line or not. Just to try to get some big-time offense with Brandon Coe, get him going early in the game. Coe's been, I guess, okay the last couple of weeks, Courtney, but he hasn't been putting up his usual numbers. You wonder about the 2 injuries he's had, that hit in the Peterborough game causing the concussion, but he hasn't been as consistent as he was before the injury. So, like I say, hasn't been bad. He just, we've been so impressed by him. He's been so strong all year for North Bay. So it'll be interesting what Coach Houlihan does with the lines if they don't pull this one out.
Coe at 203 points. He's 12 points behind Luke Lyons for 7th on the all-time Battalion points list. Mitchell Russell, speaking of, is 25th all-time at 133. His next closest is at 136, head coach Ryan Houlihan.
Yeah, it's tough to criticize top 10 scorers, but when you play a team like Hamilton, you need those guys. You need Brandon Coe to get a goal for you, just like Mason McTavish has tonight for Hamilton. You need, especially I think early in the game when Hamilton comes in pretty confident.
McTavish, Morrison, Staios, the big guns out there for the Bulldogs getting it done here. As Ladd loses a stick off the face-off, and now we see Petrov out there as well. So it's basically like a makeshift Battalion power play with those 6 guys out there. As we see Nelson with the puck at the blue line. Nelson looking over to Petrov. Petrov back to Nelson. Nelson over to Coe on the far side. Coe being hassled by Thomas. He's trying to get the puck in deep, and he does to Jackson. Jackson nearly losing the handle on it, and he does, but Ladd comes in and gets it instead. Puck now batted down the ice by the Bulldogs. 1:28 left. Ladd goes back to recover it. Ladd looking up ice for Petrov. Petrov skating it in. Petrov looking out front for Russell, and they can't get the shot away. And now Shirk with it's just going to pin it up and try and eke down some precious time. But a good stick by Jackson gets it out. Bit of a hook by Russell, no call. And Russell picks it up and loses it in the corner. Jackson taking it hard by Jackeye. And if you remember, this was the team that put Jackson out of commission for a couple of months. Nelson with the shot from the point with less than a minute left. Out front, McDonald's trying to get away with it, but he's hooked up, no call. And now the Bulldogs are going to go down and ice this one on a controversial no call by the referees in this one. And that's all we're going to have for this one. 6-3, Bulldogs win with 44.6 seconds left on the clock. I shouldn't say win. 6-3 is the score.
Yeah, that's a call that Battalion are not happy with, because Mitchell Russell was definitely interfered with and looked like he was held on that play, and he couldn't get the puck, and as a result Hamilton gets it and they score on the empty net, and that really erases any doubt who's going to win this hockey game tonight. Hamilton now up 6-3, only 44.6 on the clock, so it hasn't been North Bay's night as far as some of the calls have gone against them.
That is for sure. as the puck's into the Battalion zone with 35 seconds left on the clock, and they're just going to pin it against the boards, but now the Bulldogs coming out with it. On the bright side, compared to the last time these two teams met, the Battalion are going to let up 7 goals, and they got 1 more back on the scoreboard. Sims down. Maybe I spoke too soon with a shot.
You almost did.
Wakely up to Outwater. But hey, at least the Battalion got 3 goals instead of 2 this time. Outwater with the shot. And what was once well over 2,000 people crowd is now down to, I would say, less than 1,000. And now we have a little bit of a meeting in the corner.
Yeah, Grushnikov going at Wakely there, and only 10.9 on the clock, and I think not much animosity tonight, but I think the result for North Bay, I think from puck drop, they have to be more aggressive, more physical, and they just looked a little nervous at the beginning here tonight.
2 seconds, and that's going to do it here. The Bulldogs are going to get the 2 points over the Battalion with the final score at 6-3. Shots on goal 27-20. And that was the most disappointing effort we've seen in a while from the Battalion, but the Bulldogs just came out and wanted it a little bit more, Bob.
Yeah, I didn't see the animosity, didn't see the rivalry. North Bay, like I say, Courtney, just came out a little nervous tonight.
Yeah.
Early in the period. That first goal, and even after they tied it, again, Hamilton got the momentum back by getting one soon after, about 9 minutes after, and they never trailed. North Bay didn't put enough pressure on Hamilton in their own zone, really the story of the game, and Hamilton was much better in the North Bay zone, controlling the play, tiring out the Battalion defense at times. So a well-deserved result for the Bulldogs, and North Bay now has to focus on beating out Mississauga for that number 2 seed, because if Mississauga holds on to that game, they'll be tied. Thank you, Courtney, for the call tonight. And I know you've got to wander down, and don't ask Ryan Houlihan a question about his birthday. Just my advice to you. In a 6-3 Hamilton win tonight, and we're going to have Ben Long in a moment to talk about the game tonight. Around the OHL, Erie and Niagara, about 9 minutes to go. The Ice Dogs up 4-3.
The third star from the Battalion.
Third star. Kyle McDonald, the third star.
The second star from
Second star.
27, Ryan Winterton.
Ryan Winterton, and the number 2 star. And it looks like Mason McTavish is the number 1 star.
And the first star from Hamilton, number 23, Mason McTavish.
And North Bay fans hope they see Mason McTavish here later this year, because that means the Battalion will be in the 3rd round. So,
yeah, that'll be nice to see him then.
Around the OHL, also Mississauga and Peterborough tied at 3. 6 minutes to go. So right now North Bay still with a 2-point lead in the Central. And they'll play the Steelheads on Sunday. They'll play Niagara on the road on Saturday. And Windsor and Saginaw on a wild one. 7-5 still in the second period in Windsor. And that's quite the game going on there. As for the stats in this one, it was 1-0 Hamilton after 1, 3-1 after 2, and 6-3 the final. 3 goals for Hamilton in that third period, 2 for North Bay. Shots on goal, 27-20 Bulldogs, 13-10 Hamilton in the third, 6-4 in the first, 8-6 in the second. Not a lot of power plays in this game. 0 for 2 for Hamilton, 0 for 2 for North Bay. Faceoffs won 30-26 for the Bulldogs. Goals in the game, Nathan Steos is 14th in the first period for Hamilton. North Bay tied it. Mathurin's third in his first game back after an injury from Kyle McDonald and Owen Van Steensel at 1:09 of the second. Then at 10:07, Logan Morrison's 31st. Mason McTavish is 14th, made it 3-1 at 17:31. In the third period, North Bay did make it a 1-goal game. Kyle McDonald's 34th from Liam Arnsby and Owen Van Steensel. Second assist for Van Steensel. But then back-to-back goals by Hamilton made it a 5-2 game. Morrison's second, check that. Patrick Thomas is fourth from Winterton and McTavish at 9:49. That was the game winner. Winterton 16th from McTavish at 12:15. Kyle Jackson made it a 2-goal game, his 25th from Mitchell Russell and Grayson Ladd at 17:35. And then Lawson Shirk, not shirking his responsibilities, made it a 6-3 final with his 10th from George Diaco and Patrick Thomas. And really a complete performance by the Bulldogs as they defeat North Bay by a count of 6-3. And the Battalion, it wasn't their best game at home, and to beat a team like Hamilton, you need your best effort.
Yeah, and it's hard to get around the fact that this is just a scary Hamilton team you're playing against, right? They're really good at clogging up the middle in their own end. So anytime North Bay was trying to make one of their nice passes across that we're used to seeing and making the goalie work, they were just blocking off and then breaking out real fast. It's going to take a team that's a good team putting out their best every night to give Hamilton a run in the playoffs.
Now, last time they played, it was a second game of a back-to-back. North Bay had some injuries. North Bay was healthy tonight, and Hamilton didn't have their full roster. They played their backup goalie. They had a couple of other guys who sat out because of one of the guys who played in the Prospects game didn't play tonight. So how do you look at that as saying, I think North Bay, what they can do with this is to look at the video next time they see them. Hopefully they'll see them again this season. That means they're in the Eastern Conference Final. Look at the video and say, okay, this is what they did. What do we have to do to counteract it? And they have good coaches on the North Bay team. They know what the games showed about the way the team played and the way Hamilton played. So I'm sure they'll have a different plan next time.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that was, the score was 6-3, which sounds pretty lopsided, but the game really wasn't that lopsided. Hamilton did clearly have a little step on North Bay most of the game, but it was close. It wasn't like you were watching Pee-wees playing with NHLers, like we've seen sometimes when we've had blowout games. It was a relatively close game, and it was just North Bay seemed to be, hesitant on all their plays. They weren't forechecking hard enough. When they were back in their end, they weren't breaking out quick enough. Just a lot of the, little things that you need to go right just weren't going right for them. And I'm usually one of the last people to say, but the refereeing may have played a bit of a factor in this game too.
Well, I think with the Bulldogs, what you get is you have talent throughout the lineup, really good talent, the best the OHL can be offer. And it's their depth. Logan Morrison's on their second line. This guy's got over 30 goals. Ryan Winterton is going to be an NHL player, no doubt about that. You got Mason McTavish, who's going to be in the show next year. No doubt about that. And so just they have depth throughout their lineup. And they play good defense. They're a good defensive team.
Yeah.
And having the big guy back there, your Montreal pick.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
Now it was quite interesting to see.
If you don't bring your A game against that group, it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah. And it was interesting to see him and Coe back and forth. There's a lot of shots. Coe laid a couple really nice hits on him even. I would be surprised if it gets to dropping gloves because I don't think anyone on North Bay is foolish enough to maybe make that sacrifice to take him on in a one-on-one combat. Especially Coe, I would hate to see that because you're risking injury, especially with having a concussion earlier this year.
But for the Battalion, they can be better too. It's just not about Hamilton. It's about North Bay too. They can be better. It'll be interesting what they do with their lineup. They've tried Petrov for a few games on the third line. But, Brandon Coe is getting points, but not at the degree he was before he got injured. Do you address that by putting those two guys back together? And, that's what coaches get paid money for. That's why good coaches win games is because they see what's happening. And you can't overreact to a game like tonight. That's the big thing. You just can't overreact. You've been on a run. You're going for your 9th straight win tonight. You haven't lost at home in 6 weeks or something. So let's relax. And they have 2 road games this weekend, and we'll see if any adjustments are made or and how the staff deals with it.
Yeah, and I was surprised we didn't see Petrov jump back up to that first line to give us the classic Ko-Petrov pairing that we've been used to a lot of the season. But like you said, you can't overreact, and the coaches are, they're paid for a reason, and there's a reason they're behind the bench and we're up here in the booth.
That's right, and if you do that, okay, how does that affect the third line now? Because do you move? You're going to keep Russell on that top line. So what do you do with Kyle Jackson? Do you put him on the third line? And there's all these permutations and combinations they go through. I know this is one thing. This coaching staff, they'll talk about it. They'll look at the video. They'll see what can we do to make it better. And that's the great thing about this Battalion organization this year is it is a team effort. It's not one person making all the decisions. It's everybody sort of getting their 2 cents in, and then making a group decision, and then everybody supports it. So I think they'll have some interesting conversations.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the really refreshing things that we're seeing about North Bay, and that's going to help with this group come the playoffs, especially if we run into a tough team like the Bulldogs in the semifinals or something, is that they're a really tight group. They work together. There's none of this, I haven't seen any sort of signs of guys being frustrated at other guys on the team. I haven't seen any sort of, yelling at each other on the bench, and that stuff's common to see, just because, you have guys out here in their teenage years with a lot of testosterone going and high energy, and you're going to see some aggression like that. So to see them not have any of that going on shows that they're in this together, and that is what it takes to make a deep run.
Now the schedule is interesting because they go to Niagara, St. Catharines Saturday night. They've struggled at times against the Ice Dogs in St. Catharines. Not here so much, but in St. Catharines, they've had some interesting games, couple of losses. That's Saturday night, and then the next afternoon they go into Mississauga they play Mississauga twice. Depending on what happens tonight, they could be tied with them when they play them or just 2 points ahead. So that could be a pretty big game on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so me and Courtney are going down and taking a road trip and just going to take in the games. I'm excited to see what this night, because it's such a weird phenomenon that Niagara is they're not a strong team this year. They're in the rebuilding of their franchise, and North Bay's had such a problem with them. So I'm interested to see, if we see North Bay bounce back, that they've had a lot of injuries and issues over the season. So maybe now that everyone's back healthy, we're going to see a different story, or maybe it's, road legs. That's a long drive down to St. Catharines, and could be that they're just not getting the jump off the ice that they need right at the start of the game.
Well, again, our next broadcast, by the way, will be on a week from tonight against the Ice Dogs. So they play them twice in the next week. Mississauga, by the way, is leading Peterborough 4-3 with about 2 minutes to go.
Oh, so that could be no more league. And so thanks for joining us tonight. Bob's going to be back with us in a second here. He's just clearing up his throat with some water. He's done a lot of speaking tonight, having the color commentation and then carrying the host and dragging me along with him for the whole way.
There I am. I'm back, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Bob's been a real trooper tonight. That's all I'm talking.
So we're going to wrap it up. Final comment from you, Ben.
That was just, two great teams out there playing, and it shook down the way it was. I don't think it's necessarily indicative of if they run into each other in playoffs how it's going to go, but Hamilton's showing how tough of a team that they're going to be.
So the final again tonight, 6-3 for Hamilton over North Bay. Our next game day broadcast will be a week from tonight against Niagara at 6:50. We thank Courtney for the call and, of course, Ben for the producing as well as the analysis. My name is Bob Coles. Again, the final 6-3 Hamilton. So long from Memorial Gardens.